Hello and welcome back to Survivor Connoisseur.
Amateur.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Oh, wait.
con-
Okay, wait. Okay, I feel like we should reveal this to the people at home. The original title for this podcast was Amateur versus Connoisseur.
and then we switched it because low key AVC versus CA or CVA. CVA has a better ring to it.
I concur. I agree. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I still refer to it as Amateur versus Connoisseur.
So you just like putting yourself first, is what I'm hearing.
And what about it, Mama?
Okay, welcome
Okay.
back to Survivor Connoisseur.
Versus Amateur.
I'm Derek the Connoisseur.
And I'm Matthew the Amateur.
And we are going to be talking about both of our favorite seasons of Survivor. Of course, Matthew's only seen like 10, but of the 10 he's seen, one of his favorites as well,
Not one
Survivor.
of. My favorite period. Out of all 10 seasons I've watched, my favorite period.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
We're
it's going to be
talking.
downhill from here.
I think that it will be trumped by others in the future. I will say.
Mm-hmm. If I
Um,
don't if I don't get a 10 out of 10 season out of heroes versus villains, I'm quitting this podcast.
we're talking about Survivor Marquesas. This aired in the winter and spring of 2002. Were you alive for this one, Matthew?
I was alive. I was alive. I was born in 2001. Yes.
Okay, so Matthew's now living at the time of this airing, which is wild.
Well,
But
were you conscious at this time? What were you
no.
like 4 or 5?
Well, yeah, I guess I was conscious because I remember Ethan winning. Oh, I was conscious because I guess we'll talk about this more when we get there. One of my first like people I had a crush on was Gabe as like a little kid.
Gabe, really?
Yeah, it's the
Out of everyone
curls.
on the season? Oh,
Yeah, the curls do it for me, I think. Still to this day, I love curly hair.
okay, no, that's fair. See, I think we talked about this for Africa. I don't like curly hair.
Nah,
I
yeah,
don't like
you
curly
don't.
hair and I don't like blonde hair that much.
Love a blonde, love a ginge, love some curly hair.
Mm.
So, Gabe, that he apparently did
Mhm.
it for me when I was like 4 years old.
If I were a kid, I think my gay awakening from this season, honestly, probably would be either Sean or Boston Rob.
Okay, I can
I
see
think they're
that.
both very attractive men.
Famously, I find Boston Rob not attractive at all, but there was
Mm.
one moment where I texted Matthew and I was like, there was this one single moment on the season where I was like, you know what? I see the vision.
Thank you. Like I'm telling you, I am a Boston Rob attractiveness truther. However, I remember one single time on Twitter seeing a single tweet saying, "Oh my God, Boston Rob was so hot," and it was a picture of him from like season 4, and then somebody quote tweeted it and said, "Just a reminder, Boston Rob doesn't look like this anymore." I have no clue what he looks like nowadays, but season 4, I'm a Boston Rob truther.
He doesn't look that much different. He looks 50 because he's 50, but
Right.
like he looks pretty much the same. He's still wearing the wife beaters, you know? He got the hat on, the baseball cap. Like, I don't
Hello.
know.
Does he still have the goatee?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay. Good for him.
Yeah. So, Marquesas. Uh
Hmm.
oh, I think we're gonna start each episode with a little bit of lore. Just like a little lore dump on
Is there
you.
that much lore?
Well, this one has kind of like a funny story behind it. So, this filmed in November of 2001.
Okay, I was alive then.
Good. And if a couple months previously, there was a pretty major event that happened in the U.S.
Oh,
Obviously.
what? Tell me in detail.
So the morning of no, I'm kidding. But so the original plan for the season that had been scoped out, they were setting up the thing, they were putting all the money, they'd already signed the contracts with the local tourists, whatever. Was to do Survivor Arabia, and this would take
Oh,
place in Jordan.
oh,
But following the 9/11 attacks, they were like, this would not look good for the American public. We need to shift. And
I see.
they had about 8 weeks to completely find a new location, get all
Hmm.
the permits, get all the stuff shipped there, and like work with the local government. And we somehow ended up in Marquesas, which is
Marquesas
in
Island.
French Polynesia, which
Hmm.
don't know where that is, but sure.
It's like right in the middle of the South Pacific Ocean. It's like it's really out there in the middle of nowhere. Like if you go like I'd say solidly like I don't know how far distance is, but if you go like solidly 1,000 miles off the coast of South America, you'll find more water. But then if you go like a little another 50 miles to the north, then you'll find the Marquesas Islands.
Okay, see a
But
geography lesson we
yeah,
love.
well, to be fair, I looked it up like this morning because I was like, where are the Marquesas Islands? But that's interesting that you bring that up because I was thinking myself as I was watching this, and I think I kind of brought this up to you privately, Derek, too, is that I think in Survivor, the constant beach environment is getting a little monotonous. So it was kind of like refreshing to have a beach in Borneo, then like the Australian outback in season 2, and then Africa, the plains of Africa in season 3, and now we're back to a beach. I'm like, I'm a little bored here. And then especially watching modern seasons that
Yeah.
they all take place in Fiji, I'm like, all right, another beach. I've seen that tree 20 times now.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's interesting that you say that because one of the draws that they
see, see.
had for this season was that we're bringing it back to the beach,
Are you
back to where it
serious?
all began, because like the beach had only been done once. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it was kind of like a nostalgic return to season one.
The beach is back. That's my entrance line if I ever got on Drag Race All Stars. The beach is back. I'd
um,
walk in the Lana Jarre custom bra and panties.
Something you've never worn before.
Something I've never worn before. I would wear nails and mascara. Something I've never done before.
But I will say this was like a beautiful beach. They had like a beautiful waterfall. There was a lot of like pretty sights to see.
There is a lot to be said about Survivor making me want to travel to places I've never even thought of going to
Or
before.
knew
This,
existed.
yeah, like this season, I was like, I want to go on a resort stay in the Marquesian Islands. I
Yeah.
want to do it now because it looks so beautiful. It looks so like nice. But then I looked it up. It was like $4,000 to stay at a resort for 3 nights. I was like, okay.
So like big picture, Matthew, big picture. What is it about this season that drew you in and makes you love it so much?
I'm so glad you asked because this season, in my opinion, felt like the first time that Survivor wanted to blindside its contestants. One thing I really liked about the season is that there were not once, there was not twice, there was not thrice, but maybe like 4 or 5 different times that production specifically wanted to flip the game on its head. They would do X, Y, and Z. They would do the, which we'll get into, they'll do the tribe swap. They'll do, I'm trying to think of other things. They'll shake up how tiebreakers work.
Hmm.
Um, it felt like in the games prior, in seasons 1, 2, and 3, there was kind of a set way that people would win. There was kind of like an ease to the crown. If you just followed the formula, you would win. It seemed like this season, to me, was the first time that they wanted to experiment and wanted to test the castaways' abilities to think on their feet and pivot. And we'll get to a couple of players this season that I think adapted to that blindside, and a couple of players who I think didn't adapt to that blindside. And I think it really redefined the game. And it just made it so gaggy the entire time. Like every other episode, I was like, because Derek, I remember texting you the first time I watched the season, like a year and a half ago, when they first did the tribe swap. That was the first time I ever experienced a tribe swap. None of the modern
Hmm.
seasons had it, and then none of the seasons 1, 2, 3, 4 prior, or sorry, 1, 2, 3 prior had a tribe swap, and I gasped. I was shocked. I was gagged. So that's kind of like really what encompasses why I love this season so much. It just felt like the first time that they wanted to experiment, and I think it really worked out well.
Yeah. It felt like this season really like jumped in the strategy aspects and like the
Mm-hmm.
show's aspects of like taking advantage of that strategy, because like
Right.
a season one had some strategy obviously with the Tagi 4, and then season two had, I would say, more because you had like Tina and like Colby and Jerry like doing a bunch of stuff. Season three was like a little less heavy on the
I was
strategy.
bored. Yeah.
And then this season, everyone is strategizing.
Yeah.
Everyone is there to win, except for Gabe. Everyone is there to play, except for Gabe. And like it's like they're all battling it out, and it's just really really
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah. And there are some people, like I said, we'll get into it, but there are some people here that they thought if they just followed the formula, then they could coast to the end, like Rich did, like the Tagi Four did, or like Ethan did. For example, like they thought they could just coast through that. But the strategy was lacking in the season because they would get too comfortable thinking that they were just following the same steps that people did before that worked. And
Hmm.
this season proved that you can't follow the formula, otherwise you are going to flounder.
Yeah. Because, I mean, really, the first three seasons, it's one alliance that
Yeah,
dominates the whole thing.
yeah,
And in this season, the alliance that should or would have dominated all get, like, pagonged, basically, back to back
yeah,
to back to back.
yeah. And like the alliances that are here, the one alliance that was like the actual only probably solid alliance there was, they get pagonged, like you said, as well as the fact that the alliances remaining, mama, they're backstabbing each other left and right. For the last three episodes, bloodbath.
Yeah.
Bloodbath.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they were at it. Or sorry, not last three episodes, but the last three eliminations, they were it was anybody's game. They did not care about their alliances.
Yeah. Well, and I would even say, like, on season three, they just felt like people. Like
Right.
regular people that they pull off the street, and, sure, Lex is a little crazy, but, like, everyone else, they're just like people. These people, they came here to make history. They came
Right.
here to make television. These people
Mm-hmm.
were weird. These people had, like, weird, like, idiosyncrasies, and, like,
Yep.
you could really remember everyone on the season because they all had, like, a superlative maybe that's like, oh, you're this kind of one, you're the this one,
Yes.
you're the this one.
Yes, very like archetypes at this point. Like I see
Archetypes, yes.
archetypes like starting to form here. But even if these people fall into archetypes, these are still some like individual all-timers. Like I'm telling you,
Hmm.
like Sean, Vecepia, Pascal, Kathy, like these are all-timers to me that I still think about. I may not remember their names all the time. Quite literally, right before we started recording, I went to Google Josh Marquesian Islands, and it showed me some dude named like Josh Calloway or something or other. Don't know who that is, but apparently he's on a different season of Survivor. Then I had to figure out his name was John again. Um, but it's still like a season of all timers. Like this is such a good cast, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, this was a fantastic cast who were there to win. They were there to make good TV, and I think this, like, really did push the show into a much different direction.
Yes.
Because while there still was some chastising of the people that were playing hard, when you really watch the season, everyone is playing hard. So you really can't blame anyone for being like, oh, you were backstabbing, or like you were doing
Right.
this, or you did it. They all were. So
Yeah.
for future seasons, they're like, oh, they did it, so can I.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? Who's in the finale and who isn't? The people that backstabbed and lied and cheated.
Exactly.
Sorry, Tammy.
Do we have any more big picture things you want to talk about before we start getting into?
Let me check the miscellaneous notes of my section
Do
of
you have like a
notes.
physical notebook?
No, I'm on my
Oh,
laptop. Google
okay.
Docs.
Oh.
No.
This is gonna be, I'm just gonna say it, y'all, this is gonna be a long episode, so we're just gonna get into it. As always, we go contestant by
Right.
contestant in elimination order, and we grade their games.
We
Now,
may.
how do we grade? Just how
Yeah.
we feel. However we feel in the
It's how
moment.
we feel. Like for example, in my notes, in my little notebook here, I some people have grades that I like determined ahead of time. Other people don't have grades. I'm just gonna base it on the vibes. It's like I don't.
I
We are probably gonna like fly through like the first five, 4 or 5. But
don't
once
know.
we
I
get to
have
like
some thoughts. I have some
oh
thoughts.
oh really, I have like thoughts about one of them. But
Yeah.
once we get to like the top 8, I'd say no, top 10 probably low
Yeah.
key. Yeah, we're gonna be here for hours.
So we have our pork chop of the season. His name is Peter Harkey. He's a bowling alley owner, and he had a lot of interest in holes. So, Matthew, what did you think about Peter?
He's so funny. He's so funny. Oh my god. First off, Peter Harkey, what a name. Second
Mm.
off, bowling alley owner, what an occupation. Third, he was just weird. He was just weird. He is going to encompass, I also think, which is a common flaw in some of the players this season. He encompasses a hubris that I think kind of like a lot of people suffered from this season, where he thought he was safe because he made the fire. He was safe. He thought he was good. He was made the fire, but he was just too dang weird. He started talking about people's holes, about women's holes, and it's like, ugh, ugh. Made me feel a little gross. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm giving him an F. Like, I think he just did not have a good game. He had too much pride, thinking he was safe, which, like I said, I think either in our Borneo or our Australian Outback video, I think a good Survivor player should play as if they're always the next person going home next. He did not do that. He was like, "I'm not going home," and then he went home. I'm gonna give him an F. He was just weird.
Well, it was so funny because like I'm giving him an F minus
Mm,
because he should not have gone home. He is a very looking very big, like he can help with the challenges.
sure.
He's like a big guy, like he could really help in these challenges and he made the fire. He was helping at camp. He should have stayed. Like he would have helped them a lot, but he was so bad at the social game that they're like, "Girl, we'll make a fire. We'll figure it out in the
We'll
challenges.
make
We
it
know."
work.
Because he was like kind of in a good spot because he was like doing a lot of stuff. And then he's like, "You know what? I just want to take a break." And that was his mistake because then he's like, "I'm just going to start talking to these people." And the second he opened his mouth, they were like, "Something's not right here."
Peter was so bad that the Maraamu tribe thought it was worth it to lose 4 challenges in a row than keep him around.
Yes. Yeah. They literally never won. And
Yeah.
he was like maybe like one of their like potential like he could help us later on and they're like, oh, girl's not even worth it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like even, they may have lost like 8 challenges in a row, like 4 reward, 4 immunity. They may have lost all that in a row, but you know what they probably said to themselves? At least Peter isn't here.
At least Peter's in here talking about my holes. I still don't get what because he's talking about like he can feel every hole and there's 9 of them that he has. And people don't know that, but you have 9 and I'm at peace and I'm in unity with all 9 of my holes.
Mm. I'm at peace and unity with all 9 of your holes too there.
F minus
Yeah.
bad.
I'm bringing him down F minus. Yeah.
Although I do think we were robbed of some like more fun moments like that. I would have enjoyed more chaos.
I think some people completely made up for it.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Because so we have Rotu who are winning everything.
Yep.
And like I feel like this has the more like interesting dynamics because there's just like I don't know, I just feel like there's more going on that I care about at Rotu because Manaamu is just weirdos. Psychos, like people that are bad at this game.
They are actively insane, all of them. All of them. Except for like the 2 that made it to the top 5.
I would even say Sean is crazy at points.
Oh,
Vecepia is
Sean
the
is
one normal person on this, and Gina. Gina was normal. Hunter was normal too, but they didn't last that long.
Hunter was normal but boring. But I will agree. Sean was insane. Sean was like a Lex level of insane. Like he was
Yes.
good. He was insane.
The next person to go home, also from Maraamu, was Patricia, who they called Mom, and she was the older lady on the tribe. What did you think about Patricia?
I didn't have many thoughts about her. She seemed nice. There's a common trend of these early eliminations that are women of a certain age that I don't have a lot of thoughts about. If they made it further, they maybe could have done okay. But, they're just the victim of those early season physical based challenges with teams that they can't contribute in. Didn't have many thoughts about her.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I feel like when you compare like Marilyn on Australia and Patricia here on Marquesas, Marilyn like she fell down in a challenge and they were kind of like, okay, bye, bitch. Patricia, she was like they randomly had this montage of her being like, "We're gonna put the knives right on this tree here, and you better go be getting that coconut." And they're all like,
Okay, hold
"Okay."
on. The tone wasn't like that. Hold on.
There was this whole montage of her
calmly
being like,
asked, she calmly asked Boston Rob to lay his knife against the tree.
the
And
way that it
Boston
was
Rob
edited
said
and
in agony.
perceived was her like, "Go to your room, or if you don't get this coconut chopped." And they're like, "Bitch, I do not need my mother here."
Right. Okay, but like, yes, but don't you think that's just like Don't you think that's just an excuse for their ulterior motive of like, we're not going to be able to use this woman?
I feel like it was like there's a lot of younger people on this season or
Mhm.
on this tribe, and they just did not want that like older woman that was going to be like basically like making them do what they should be doing already.
Right, right.
So there was that was a
Well,
big thing on Manaamu was like the people who wanted to work and the people who did not want to work.
yeah, that's true. And also, I can see the perspective too that there are the people that on that tribe that didn't want to work, but I feel like there was a good, healthy proportion of people that did want to work at least a little bit. But it kind of reminds me that like, remember when you were a kid and you were just about to start vacuuming and your mom came home and said, "Derek, vacuum," and then now you have to
Yes.
like do it with an attitude. That I kind of see that vision with like Patricia, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So like I don't know, like I feel like Marilyn it was more like she really gelled well with people, but like she just wasn't strong. I feel like with Patricia, they were annoyed with her and she wasn't helping in the challenge. So it was like a double whammy.
Right, right. So would you say she's worse than Marilyn then? Would you give her like a lower score?
Oh yeah, because I think I gave Marilyn like a C plus because people like really liked her and they were sad to
Yeah.
vote her out. I think I would give Patricia a D minus.
Tina. Oh.
Oh. I'll give her a D minus because I think that she probably still goes second regardless, but like maybe they would have at least been sad to send her home.
I'll give her a D. I'll give her a D.
That's fair. Then we have a big shakeup happens at Maraamu because this is the Boston Rob Renaissance.
Yes.
He takes shit over
Uh,
with Sarah, with Vecepia, with Sean, and that leaves Gina and Hunter at the bottom, and they
yep.
vote out Hunter. So, what did you think about this whole like plot and Hunter's game?
So Boston Rob, and obviously we'll talk about Boston Rob. He absolutely screwed Hunter's pooch. Like he really wiped the floor with Hunter. Hunter as a player, I think made a two. Sorry, I thought I was about to sneeze.
You-
Excuse me.
bless you. That just reminded me of when Peppermint was like in Snatch Game, and she's like, "That bitch." What about her? If her head was Amy Bigger, bitch, what would happen? Her head would explode, bitch.
Oh my God. So I think Hunter made two not even menial mistakes. I think he made two big mistakes this entire game, and they kind of both have to do like with a lot of his personality, I think, of who he is as a person. Obviously, he got too much attention too early on, and he wasn't very conscious of what effects that might have. He was kind of thriving in the idea of him being the leader, and he was the one getting all the attention. He was kind of thriving in that role, but he failed to consider the consequences that role might take on. Um, because it's great to be the likable, handsome TV host, army veteran, but you have to be conscious. Sometimes people will prey on your downfall. You know, if you're they'll prey on your downfall just for being important. You know what I mean? Because it just makes you like an easy scapegoat for everyone else on the tribe. It makes it so easy. And actually, we'll get to it when we talk about Vecepia, but I think Vecepia made one of the best pre-merge moves in episode one. Oh, actually, no, I'll wait till we get there. But I think he was just too easy to scapegoat. The second mistake that I think he made was similar to a lot of the other characters this season was that it was sort of like a hubris pride thing where he just assumed nobody else was playing the game. Like we said, this is kind of like Boston Rob's Renaissance episode. But there were so many instances where Hunter would say something like, "Oh, what did I write down? Oh yeah, some people on my tribe think they're on vacation." Meanwhile, on that very same episode, he would say in episode three, he said, "We're not at the Ritz-Carlton," and he assumed everyone was just lying back and not caring. Meanwhile, Boston Rob was over here rounding up three different people to vote off Hunter. You know, he just assumed that everybody else was lazy and not willing to play the game, and that was his downfall. He had a lot of hubris, a lot of pride, and a lot of he wasn't cynical enough. You know what I mean? He wasn't
Mm,
cynical
yeah.
enough. Yeah, no, that's the word I'm going to use because he did like overestimate the laziness of other people, and that's what got him sent home. That's my thoughts on Hunter. I would probably give him like, actually, no, you convinced me. I think I'm going to give him an F because the way you said that, what's his face should not have gone home first. Hunter should not have gone home this early. He's third out, but I think he had like more. I think he had bigger flaws, character flaws that were like worse than whatever his name is, Peter, because he was like blind to other people playing the game. So I'm gonna give him an F.
I disagree with you. I
Okay.
disagree with you heavily. I think that on most other seasons, Hunter can make the merge pretty easy. And then he probably, goes early in the depending on like if his tribe has the numbers and things like that, he could go early at the merge. But like I think that he had a lot of good things that make a good survivor player. The problem is he was on a tribe with Boston Rob who didn't give a shit about any of that. Oh, I thought you
Oh,
had something to add.
no, I didn't. I was just mimicking you. Explain. Please.
Oh,
You mean.
because like he really was like trying to keep this tribe afloat. He seemed like a nice person, He just was really like, guys, we have shit to do, and we're gonna have to get it done. And then Sean would be like, yeah, about that, or Rob would be like, yeah, whatever. And I think that he just lost his like patience over time dealing with those two. And unfortunately, a lot of people on this tribe just could care less about, unfortunately for Hunter at least, could care less about let's make this tribe, strong. Let's, we're one big team. Let's make sure that our life is going well. But they didn't give a shit about that. They just wanted to, like Rob just wanted to like gain control or like all those things. They just wanted to like mind their own business and have a good time. Whereas Hunter was like, these are the things that will make our tribe better. And they're like, cool, fuck you. And, he had Gina there, who I think was also like really trying to like make things work and make things gel. But like Rob had his own thing going on and there was just no wiggle room for them.
But don't you think that that is bad as a player that he wasn't able to kind of sit down and potentially pivot when he realized the people you're working with? Shouldn't a good Survivor player not strong arm into other people into operating a certain way? Shouldn't a good Survivor player kind of mesh well in other people's operations? That's what like it felt like Hunter was strong arming Sean and Boston Rob to doing what he wanted to do, when in reality, the minute that he saw that they wouldn't budge, he should have molded with them.
He probably, if he wanted to like stay longer, he probably just should have like done all the work himself because Rob and Sean clearly didn't want to do any of it. But it's kind of like him and Rob and him and Sean were never gonna mesh because they were there to do one thing and he was there to do another. He was there to be the Boy Scout. He was there to be the Golden Boy, and that was never gonna mesh well with Rob and with Sean. So I just think that maybe in other tribes he could have done better, but he was not able to meet his tribe in the middle with what a lot of people
Right.
wanted to do, which was just be crazy and like make moves and like all those kinds of things.
Right.
So I would probably give him like a C minus.
Whoa. I'm shocked to hear a C come out of your mouth for Hunter.
I don't know. I feel like he was really good at some aspects. Like he was really trying to get the tribe together. He was trying to like, make them mesh well. And the other
Right.
people just did not give a shit about that.
Right. But mind you, didn't you say in episode one that a bad game, an F game, is people who try but fail miserably? He failed miserably. Did he not?
I guess it's just because I felt a little bit bad for him. Like he really was trying hard, and those people were giving him nothing.
Well, he should have played better. What can I say? Should have made some big moves.
It's honestly shocking that he goes home third because like you
Yeah.
look at him and you're like, oh, he's making it to merge.
Right. And today's weather is yeah, he's too news reporty.
I loved those scenes. Like there was just so many, and that's what I missed in the new era. There's so many like fun scenes of them just hanging out, like doing their little weather report show with Sean, like doing like the announcing, and like it was just fun.
Sean was so good, FY, by the way, at talking head diction. He was so good at it. Like he felt like the weatherman on Channel 19. You know what I mean? He felt like Josh Peck's father on Drake and Josh.
Not Josh Peck's father, Mr. Nichols.
Mr. Nichols. Anyways, what would you give Hunter?
I'll go Miss C minus.
Man, I thought I convinced you to go down to D.
No, I sympathize with him a little bit because I do
Mhm.
think Rob and Sean would be very difficult to live with, and I don't know if I could do a better job than he did.
Right. I could.
So then we have the tribe swap, which was crazy and awesome.
Changed everything. There are going to be like three different times this episode where I will say that something changed the entire season.
Yeah.
And the tribe swap was one of them. The tribe swap was a gag. It was a shock. At this point in time, this was like the fourth or fifth season of Survivor that I've ever watched. Not a single season up until that point had done a tribe swap. 44, I wrote them down. 44, 15, and season one, none of them ever did it. So I did not know that this was even on the table. I didn't know they could even do this. You know what I mean? So I was gooped. I was gagged. It was terrible. They tried to drown me in the ocean. I was like, whoa. But it was just so cool to see this happen because you have so many different storylines going through this. You have Maramu literally being beaten to death. You have the Rotu people really come together and really trying to find like the strong foundation, but then that all shakes it up. It's just so much happens because of this that really just changed everything.
If you think about what would have happened if this didn't happen, Mana
Mhm.
Amu just would have been decimated, and the first time Rotu went to a tribal, Kathy would have been gone, which
Yes.
could have ruined the season.
Ruin. Ooh, I don't know about all that, but I guess.
Ruined. I ruined the
Well,
season.
I guess in this scenario, if like all the Maramu went home, they were kind of getting decimated. Then Kathy goes home. Then there's like all the fun people are gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Rotu 4 basically taking
Yes.
over.
But you know the funny, the funniest part though was that they were cruel. They were cruel for not swapping numbers or like mixing the numbers. They said we're doing a tribe swap and we're gonna have 8 and 4 still. So now we have like this huge giant tribe that not only has Josh and not only has the general and not
Josh,
what's it who the
John.
John button ring the belly button piercing. Not only do they already have John, not only do they already have the general, but now they're getting Sean, now they're getting Boston Rob, and then you have like this tiny little team, this tiny little cute little team of Kathy, Nalea, who else is there? Gina and Pascal. Like you have this cute little humble little team, this little team
The
of
girly
misfits.
bops and grandpa.
Yes, yes. So it felt like a little cruel. It was so funny seeing
Yeah.
them all like side by side. Oh, and Sarah's there too.
Yeah.
It's so funny seeing them all like side by side. It's funny.
I don't know if they've ever done that again, where like they swapped because usually let's say there's like a team of 7 and a team of like 4, they would
Right,
swap to be 6 and 6.
right.
But this was like, no, you had 4 people when we swapped you, so you're gonna stick with 4 people. And
It's
it
so
was just kind of
cool.
like, yeah, it was like, what's the point of this?
Right.
I don't think they ever do that again. But there's so many interesting dynamics, and like they do such a good job of like putting the puzzle, like showing you all the pieces of the puzzle, so that when the
Yes.
pieces get like jumbled up again, you can see how the pieces are fitting into the new puzzles.
Yes. The season is so good. It's just so good at storytelling.
Yes.
And you, even though the fact you can obviously tell that this was a producer decision that they made like the day before, that they're like, Maramu is getting decimated, they're getting gutted. We need to do something right now to shake things up. You can tell that that was a decision they made that day. They weren't ever going to do this otherwise, but it was so worth it. I think it really made season four what it was.
I agree. I agree. And it gave Gina, who also would have been the next person to go home if their tribe lost, like a little moment to shine. Because
Yeah.
Gina, oh, I love Gina. I love her.
Is she the one that dated Jeff Probst?
They did not date allegedly,
Okay.
but they were good friends for many years.
Okay. When did we get to the girl that dated Jeff Probst?
Season 9,
Oh,
right
that's
after
so
All
far away.
Stars. It's right after All Stars.
Okay, that's so far away. We're getting
But
closer though. We're getting closer day by day. It's a marathon, Derek. It's not a
it's not a
race.
sprint. It is not a sprint. So we stay with they still Maramu, right? Like the
Yes.
the one with like Sarah and Gina and
Yes.
Kathy.
not only do I have even more detailed notes than I did last time, but this time I actually put their tribe names next to their names and highlighted them. And I highlighted them color coordinated. So yes, we're still at Maramu.
In the previous podcast, I was like, anyway, so Ogakor, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yes, I'm actually in this. And listen, Derek, every episode that goes by, I'm gonna get better and better. I'm evolving. I'm leveling up.
You're a professional at this point.
That's what I'm saying. By the time we get to like season 20, by the time we get to heroes versus villains, Mama, I'll be more of a connoisseur than you are.
Please, you'll have a dissertation for every
Right.
episode.
But I'm still gonna call Sue Hawk Sue Pelican.
Sue Warbler.
Sue Heron.
Yes. So the new Mana Amu is Gina and Sarah, who were already there and are like
Mhm.
kind of at odds because Gina was Team Hunter. Sarah was, as Rob would say, like his lackey.
Mhm.
He was literally just using her for a vote because he said she was too dumb to make decisions on her own. And then you bring in Pascal and Nalia and Mother Goddess herself, Kathy Vavrick O'Brien. So this is a group of five.
Yep.
And this is a pretty clean cut. Gina is a normal person. Nalia and Pascal and Kathy are all normal people, and they're like, let's get Sarah out of here.
Okay, well, I mean, Sarah's not like not normal.
She's just a little kooky in ways.
No, she's quite normal, I think. Just maybe a little on the ditzier side.
I guess the big thing with Sarah is when they are coming in and they're all rowing for hours and hours to get to their camp. She's literally sitting there, boobs out, chest like everyone in the world can see.
Waist snatched.
Yes, body tea, so I can't be mad. But she's like, everyone, the first thing this island is gonna see, my boobs. And she's sitting there just waiting for these peasants to get her to her new camp.
Sean put it best when she said it looked like a procession for Queen Cleopatra.
Yes. But I feel like at some point they were kind of mean to her for no reason because
I
like
agree.
she was like really trying to help with like the palm fronds and like how they can improve the shelter, and they were kind of like, girl, shut up. And
I agree.
she's like, no, like if we add more palm fronds here, if we do this, it'll be more work, but then we'll be able to sleep well. And they're like, anyways, you dumb bitch, like no.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt
Like,
really bad. Like I feel like I know many of people. I've been in the person that's been in a situation where it's just like I'm trying to help, but nobody's listening to me, and you
hmm
don't know why nobody's listening to you, and you just feel like that frustration and that feeling of getting beaten down on. It's like it's frustrating.
yeah.
uh, and there were so many confessionals that were like, Sarah loves to like tell us to do X, Y, and Z, but have I seen her help do X, Y, and Z? And I was watching it. I was watching the series. I was watching the show, and yes, I saw Sarah trying to do X, Y, and Z. But you guys would just like quite literally push her to the side, kick sand at her face, spit on her, and then just like, oh my God, Sarah just does nothing, Mama.
I feel like what happened there was like she really did do absolutely nothing for days and days on end.
Yeah,
So then when
yeah.
she actually has an idea, like no matter that it was good or not, they were like, "Girl, shut up."
But no, this was like episode one. This is when they try to build a shelter,
No, it was episode. It was like episode. It was the episode the hunter left because they had already built their shelter,
and they
but
rebuilt it.
yeah, and it was like raining on them or something. And she's
That's
like,
right.
"Here's how
That's
we can
right.
fix it," and they're like, "Girl, bye."
That's right. You got you. You're true. Okay, you're so true. She had no sense of willpower. She had no. She had no sense of accordance of doing things herself when it came to
hmm
the game. Rob was her quite literally her one single protection. And she lost that in the swap. And so she didn't really do anything herself in terms of protecting her place in the competition without Rob. So, it was just kind of like her time to go. And it felt like such an easy, it really felt like such a, not even a gameplay choice, but a narrative choice to get rid of Sarah when she did, because then quite literally the next episode, Maramu wins their first challenge. I
hmm
feel like they had to get rid of Sarah before they really had to got the ball rolling. It felt like she was like a tumor that they like had to cut off before they
Please.
everybody.
Yeah, this season has the perfect boot order. Would not change the boot order at all. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Uh,
Except Gabe going home too early. He wanted to build a society. I wanted to see him make it.
if Gabe would have made it to the end, they maybe could have like built like
Flying cars.
skyscrapers. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it could have been crazy.
If Gabe had made it to the end, the Marquesian Islands would have become the world capital. They built a society.
Yes, they would have overthrown NATO with something even greater.
But Sarah, I'm gonna give her an F. I'll give her an F.
I will also give her an F. But
Mhm.
like, I don't know, it was I kind of felt bad for her at times, but then also she would be kind of like annoying at other moments,
Right,
and like
right.
I wouldn't really want to live with her.
Yeah.
But she was like a good character. She didn't overstay her welcome.
Yeah. She just never tried, is my problem. She just never tried.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, she was there for vacation, and that's fine.
That was the one time Hunter was right when
Yeah.
he said that he participated.
One of my notes that I wrote is in her like exit message when she's like leaving. She's like, I want to wish everyone luck, especially Gina." And I was like, "I thought you didn't like Gina.
Mhm.
So what happened there?"
Put your detective cap on, Derek.
So tell me, Sarah, what happened with you and Gina?
We need to get her on T-Bird's show to
We
explain what
do
happened.
talking with T-Bird. Yes,
Talking with T-Bird.
she might have been on it already. Who
I mean,
knows?
maybe she addressed it then. We need to start doing like research
I
before
mean,
getting release.
I do some research. That's how I come up with all this lore.
That's true. I can't do research
You
because I'm
can't. You
on the
cannot do
show.
research.
Yeah.
No.
Listen, every time when we make our like TikToks for like our Instagram and TikTok, it's always a gamble when I have to like look up the people so I can include their pictures on the videos because sometimes I'll see a picture of their new promo and I'm like, oh, what season is that? But like for example, like I had to make a TikTok for Tina. I already know Tina comes back for All Stars and I know she comes back for Blood versus Water. But my God, her profile picture for Blood versus Water was the first one. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to see this. And I specifically type in Tina Wesson, Australian Outback. I do all these things.
You have to go specifically, well, not even then. You have to go to like the wiki, but then you can't even go to their actual pages. You have to stick with the photos that are on the
Right.
Australian page.
I know. It's crazy.
You are literally on a minefield of spoilers, and it's
Mhm.
a miracle you haven't found out who won Winners at War.
And I'm gagged that I haven't. I'm gagged that I haven't, but I'm keeping it that way. I know like two people that are on it, but I'm gagged that I haven't seen who's won. But it really is a minefield, especially watching the modern seasons live, because I feel like I am dodging bullets. There was an episode on season 46, or maybe 45, I remember, where this dude was doing like a challenge. It wasn't an immunity challenge, it was like one of those, oh, take this boat and do this challenge thing. And it was like arrange all the seasons in order. And he was like, "Oh, I'm arranging all the seasons based on the winners." And he started listing the winners dive into my pillow, cover my ears until the scene was over for 10 minutes.
Yeah, they don't. They're like these seasons have been out for 20 years. If you haven't seen them yet, that's on you, bitch.
Right. And it is on me. If I get spoiled, that's on me. You know what I mean?
um, so now we have to talk about someone who I've been waiting for this moment. We are going to talk about Gabriel Cade, the first person from Rotu to be sent home. Gabe we've never gotten someone like him again, and like
But you almost did.
they almost did because they almost cast him again because they forgot that he was on. What did you think about Gabe?
Society. Right. We live in a society. Um, I didn't write much for Gabe because I just thought he was a funny figure more than anything.
Hmm.
I love the passion and I agree with the passion. I would love to build a society, but this is Survivor. This is not the place to do it. Shout out to you though. Shout out to you. But the minute that he said in his fight with John that he's like, I'm not here to play the game is the minute that I tuned out. I was like, all right, F. But he just cracks me up. He just cracks me up because you know what? Good for you for wanting to go on the show called Outwit, Outlast, Outlove. Nope, that's Tina's book.
That's
Outwit,
Tina's
Outlast,
book.
Outplay, Survivor. And you're like, I'm here to build a society. I'm here to see what would happen. Now, given the new lore, though, would he have tried the same to build a society if you were in Georgia? What was it, Georgia? Jordan? Jordan?
Jordan, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he would have tried the same there, too.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder if he had been on the season that he applied to, would he have done the same thing, or was he there because he's like, now I get it. I'm
Yeah.
here to play a game now.
Now, this is some lore that I did find out, like, when I did watch the season the first time, but wasn't it because he was like, I actually want to try this time?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah. I
I
thought he
would
said
love.
that. Maybe
I would
not.
love to see it, a Gabe Cade
Season
2.0.
50. Hello.
Season 50, I'd put him on.
Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting because like Rotu pre-swap was the love tribe. They all got along except for Kathy because they were like, "You're a fucking weirdo."
Yes.
But then even towards the end of like their time together, they were like, "No, Kathy, you're actually like your T." Um, but one of my favorite moments with Gabe is Kathy is like she is sweating, she is stressed, she is about to like have a full on panic attack. She's like, "We need a shelter. We have no shelter. We need a shelter, Gabe." And he's like, "Kathy, I'm not here for shelter. I'm here for the society." And I was like, "Can't you
Listen,
have both? Can't you go help this bitch with the shelter and create a society at the same time?"
Gabe, let me ask you $1 million question, Gabe. Let me ask you $1 million question that cost you the $1 million for Survivor. Don't you have to have shelter to build a society?
Where's your society gonna live?
Hello, hello. You know, because you know what? It's great. It's great if your society can run and frolic through the flowers and pick cherries. But what are you going to do when it rains on your society?
When there's a hailstorm.
Hello.
And riddle me that, Gabe.
Riddle me that, Gabe. But I will say too, the interesting thing about Gabe is that it was very fascinating how the show treated his elimination.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when Maramu, the new Maramu tribe, saw that Gabe was the one who was eliminated after Rotu went to the tribal for the first time, Pascal was gagged. Pascal was shocked. He had to go and sit for a minute. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was gagged. Do you think if Gabe, and I want to ask you, do you think if Gabe had actually came there to play, do you think he would have made it far?
I think he would have, because I think he would have much rather stuck with Pascal and Nalia and Kathy than with the Rotu Four.
Hmm.
And it was really sad because like they showed so much when they showed Rotu, pre-merge, it was mostly to show either Kathy kind of struggling to fit in
Right,
or just like how much they all really seem to like each other.
right.
Um,
Because Gabe was building a society.
yes, and the society was thriving. You needed the two pillars of society: Kathy, who was doing the work, and Gabe, who was basically just saying, "Hey guys, let's like each other." Those are the two pillars of society. You need your
Yep,
Gabe,
you
you
don't
need
need
your
anything else in
Kathy.
society. You don't need shelter even. You just
No,
need
no.
Kathy, you need a Gabe.
Kathy going and getting some like muscles, and Gabe sitting there doing some type of rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all you need.
I always felt like I saw Gabe and he was just like sitting down and like rapping something. He was either
Yes.
rapping a physical verse or he was rapping like tree leaves. I feel like I
Yes.
never saw him do anything.
Yeah. Well, so and they show that Pascal. I keep saying it weird. Pascal.
I
It's
thought it was Pascal.
I think it's
Oh,
Pascal.
it is Pascal. You're right.
Pascal has. I've never heard that name of before or after.
I heard it on Tangled, but that's why I keep thinking it's Pascal.
Okay. Pascal grows really close with Nalia and with Gabe, and he's like giving them both morning kisses on the cheek, like they're his little son and daughter. And then Gabe just gets like yoinked from Pascal's world, and he's like torn. Like that was the son that he never had. He
Yeah.
probably has a son, I don't know, but it's it's the island son that he never
I,
had.
I think he said he had like 3 daughters and no sons. So
Well,
he like,
Gabe filled that void in his heart, and they fucking took it away from him. Those
yeah.
jerks.
Like he was sitting there the whole time. He's like, what a good kid. I just can't believe that they voted out Gabe.
He was like, "That's my boy." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Oh, my boy.
He would
Look
he
what
would
you did
see
to my
see
boy.
he would see Gabe in the morning and go, "Hey, champ."
Oh gosh. You got a baseball match today?
But yeah, so Gabe is just talking to other people. He's talking to the new tribe members of Vecepia and Rob and Sean because guess what? They're part of the society too, bitch.
Hello.
And John, who is the self-appointed leader of Rotu, is like,
Rolling my
no,
eyes. For
he's
podcast
about.
listeners. I'm rolling my eyes for podcast listeners.
Anytime I mention John, there will be a eye roll from Matthew. But John sees this as like, oh, Gabe's about to flip, and so he literally calls him out. He's like, "You're gonna flip," and Gabe's like, "No, because I'm not playing." And he's like, "Oh, you're lying then." But
Right.
if I'd spent that much time with Gabe and knew what a fucking like hippie he was, I'd be like, "Oh, no, that's definitely true."
Exactly. Exactly. That's how I felt. Like, even though I think the show did a good job to hide the fact that he was like that prior to his episode going home, because it felt like a blindside out of nowhere when the episode came out, where he just all of a sudden started talking about society building and I'm here to see if we can prove that we can live together and harmonize, as a community. It felt like that came out of nowhere. But if that is truly what Gabe thought, it wouldn't have been a surprise to the other players that that was why he was there. You know what I mean? But we as an audience watching an edited TV program, that was a shock. That was like, why are you doing this now? You came on Survivor to do this for what? And I think that kind of primed us as viewers to go home and say, well, if he's not there to play, send him home. It was definitely felt like an effort to justify his elimination.
Yeah, yeah. Which this was Marquesas losing its innocence.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, no. You mean Marquesas the season?
Yeah,
No, I disagree. I think Hunter going home was when they lost their innocence.
I guess so. I
Yeah.
guess I really liked all of the Rotu scenes with them getting along so well, and there really seemed to be like so much like love there.
Right.
So then to be like to just get rid of the guy who was like facilitating a lot of that, I was like, damn.
Yeah. This season is crazy.
It is. You said you give Gabe an F?
I gave him an F. If you're not there to play, then
Yeah.
well, I give him like a DQ. You know what I mean? I give him like
You're not even playing, so you don't get a grade.
yeah, not applicable. You know what I mean?
Yes. I think I'd give him a D because like he obviously got along well with a lot of people.
Right.
So
But
like
he was building a society.
he
He was.
was. And that society was built because they won everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I feel like for him, that was probably the best, and I think he even said this in his like goodbye message. Like that was probably the best time for him to go because like he got everything he wanted in those first however many days, just with Row 2, and then once the game really started for them, he got out of there quick.
Yeah, yeah.
The last pre-merge boot, which was sad to watch, was Gina Crews, who, she'd really gotten close to Kathy and Pascal and Aaliyah, but unfortunately, those three just knew each other longer. So when they
Right.
lost another challenge, she was sent home. What did you think about Gina?
I didn't really write much for Gina, except I had like one thought. That's like it's kind of like how violating that there is a group of three new people from your formerly opposing tribe, like three former enemies, come into your home, come into your society, as it were, eat your food, sleep in your bed, and then they eliminate you all one by one. Like the fact that the Maramu tribe was completely built by only Rotu members by the end of it, like the worst
Yes.
members by the end of it, was crazy. It was crazy. But Gina, I think she just was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Hmm.
The cards did not place well for her. The cards did not, like whatever phrase else means, like to mean that she just wasn't at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Her and Sarah were outnumbered by Maramu. Nalia, Pascal, and Kathy at that point specifically were never going to vote against each other. Not when they had two perfectly good Maramu picks right there. She just was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I think she did a good job to try to mesh well with those three. For example, like immediately, as soon as they got back to camp and being like, guys, Sarah doesn't do anything. Sarah kind of sucks. Don't vote me, vote her. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
For that. I think the only way she would have made it to the merge or even mergatory is if Maramu had won that last immunity challenge before the merge. But unfortunately they didn't, and so she had to get ousted.
Yeah. And low key, I think if they win that last one and Gina makes the merge, I think she makes it very, very far. I think she
I
makes
think
it super far.
I wrote down that I think she probably would have made at least top five. I
Yeah.
said at least top five. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think her and Kathy would have been like, well, and it would have been that would have been great for Kathy because Kathy's, I mean, we'll get into it, but like she always just needed one person that was hers. She
Yeah.
never had that, but she did with Gina.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
She,
it's sad because it's like a what if, and I loved Gina. She was so chill. She was just like vibing, and she was like, Sarah, you're a bitch. Rob, you're crazy. Like Sean, do some fucking work. And I was
right.
like, you know
Right.
what? Like work.
She reminds me of a little bit of like Gretchen from Borneo, a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah.
She's real. She's real.
She's the national queen of watermelon.
What does that mean?
There's like a watermelon pageant, where
Angel Florida?
yes, and she won in Florida, and then she won the nationals. And from there, she went around the world teaching people about watermelon.
Oh, good for her.
She
Good
was like
for
the
her.
ambassador for watermelon.
Oh, well, good for her.
Yeah.
I guess watermelon really just needs an ambassador like that, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't be eating watermelon today if it weren't for Miss Gina Crews.
Do you think she's tried? Do you think she grows like those cube watermelon? Have you seen
No,
those?
I think she's like in 2037. She's doing a dodecahedron watermelon.
She's got those little like plastic containers of like it's gonna be a shape we can't even comprehend. It's gonna
And she invented it with her watermelon, yeah.
She is growing watermelons in the fourth dimension, guys.
I would give her a C plus, but
Mhm.
I think that like a lot of it was like bad luck. Like she just
Yeah.
happened to be on a tribe with some people that did not vibe with her and how she wanted to play, and then she, was kind of screwed with the swap.
I completely agree. I give her a C minus simply because of bad luck as well. But I think her score is brought up for me because I think she did well to at least try and did well to actually merge in with the Rotu that had swapped to Maramu. So I'm gonna give her a C minus. I think she like did well enough for as far as she could go.
Fair. That's fair. So that is the pre-mergers. And
Now
now shit
we're in it. Now
shit gets real.
this
um,
is Marquesas from here on out.
yeah. Boston Rob.
Boston Rob. Boston Rob.
Give us the Boston Rob full breakdown.
Obviously, I know who Boston Rob is. Even before I watched the show, there's a handful of people I knew from Survivor before I even had seen a single episode of the show. One of those people is Parvati. The other person is Boston Rob. Like I know those two people. You know what I mean? Boston Rob's legacy as a player extends beyond just the show of Survivor.
Yeah.
There's a couple things I know about Boston Rob. I'm going to be transparent with our audience at home. There's a couple things I know about Boston Rob. I know that he is a winner. I don't know what season he wins, but I know he wins at least one season at one point. Don't know what it is, but he's just like this huge legacy of the show. And watching him on this season made me start to understand why he's so well, not even well received, but why he's such a big name from the show. Because I see the blueprint of what a really good play can make. He had that pre-merge and Mararamu on lock. He did so good. He was like wrapping everybody around his finger, and he was like an early season villain almost. The way he was sitting there, and he was like, there's a quote I wrote down from episode 3. He said, "As long as they obey, as long
Mm.
as they obey."
He
You
said,
know?
"It doesn't matter if my team is better physically or mentally, just
Mhm.
that they obey." That's
Yep.
crazy. That is crazy.
Exactly. And the fact that you like talk about people like that, other people like that, is crazy. But in a game of Survivor, mama, all bets are off. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's just a testament to how he played the game this season, I think. And the other thing too I really liked about his gameplay is that in the pre-merge, he did not rule by an iron fist, but he ruled by subtle whispers. He wasn't fighting Hunter. He wasn't doing X, Y, and Z. He may have like had standoffish moments with Hunter, but he wasn't like, okay, Hunter, you're going home next. But he was more so like, all right, Sarah, I think we need to get rid of Hunter. He was like more subtle with it. He was always playing, is I think a good way to summarize him. He was always playing. His downfall came in with the tribe swap. And this is kind of what I was hinting at when we talked about this at the beginning of this episode, when I said that this season tested players' ability to pivot and think on their toes. Boston Rob was not good at thinking on his toes in this specific instance. And I'm very fascinated to see how he might grow as a Survivor player in the future to when he does win a season at some point. Again, I don't know which season, but it's going to be interesting to like compare his gameplay here. It was really just the tribe swap. He just had such a good standing in Mararamu by itself, but the minute that he had to like pivot and like rethink his strategy, he wasn't able to keep up, and I think that was his downfall.
Well, and I feel like once he lost that power when he got swapped, because he only gets swapped with Sean and V. Like they're the
Yeah.
only three Maraamus on Rotu after the
The
swap.
two people that he didn't have like a hook on,
Well, he had Sean. He definitely had Sean.
but
They
not
were
like a hook.
buddies.
Sorry.
He didn't have Sarah, who was his real like number.
Yeah.
But like it's not. He didn't even. I guess we didn't see him try to infiltrate he didn't try that hard to pull in Gabe until he realized he needed to. Like he didn't like go in and be like, okay, here's a new opportunity. He saw it as like, oh no, I'm fucked. Who are these people that are like, oh, who's this queer John who thinks he's hot shit? Like he couldn't just like swallow his hubris
Yeah.
and be like, I need to start from point A
Ground zero.
again. Instead, he was just so focused on like, I'm not the head honcho over here. So why, like, what the
Head
fuck?
honcho over here. What's
Who
going
put this
on?
queer in charge, eh? Like,
Right. It's like that was his problem because good Survivor players need to be able to plan for their plans to go perfectly, and they need to plan for their plans to go awry. They
mm-hmm,
need to plan for both at all times. You need to be prepared for anything.
yeah,
And Boston Rob only planned for everything to go perfectly. He did not plan for everything to go awry.
yes, yeah. What he does know how to do though is read a bitch down because he
Ooh.
got to Rotu and he said, Zoe, she's the biggest guy here. General, I met many guys like him. I know he has a small dick. And
Hello.
John, he's just a fucking queer. It was like, not you literally getting to the beach and on moment one, you read
Mhm.
everyone for filth.
Yep, yep. It was very like Drag Race Down Under. Electroshock. Man. It was like he was reading a bitch, and I think that's just that Boston in him. I think that's just that
Yes.
Boston twang. Like that's just I've met many a person from Boston, and he is him. And
Great TV. Amazing TV.
and I'm gonna use like straight man lingo here. I'm gonna use heterosexual man lingo here. He is him. He is him. You know, that's the
Mm-hmm.
guy, Boston Rob.
Mm.
I just can't wait to see like what happens in like future seasons with him. You know what I mean? The
How the
Juju
story
Survivor.
how the storyline progresses.
Yes, when he's on Survivor 50 again.
No, it's one of my favorite moments too. And like, was he a little bit homophobic in the season? Sure, but like, whatever.
A little bit.
I don't think he's like that homophobic now. This
He
is
wasn't calling
2002.
like John a faggot.
No,
Oh,
he
probably
said
did that.
queer, which for 2002 it is basically saying faggot. But
He probably edited
he he um he goes, so are you guys in an alliance? And John goes, no, we're not. He goes, okay, then I have one more question. Are you gay?
And John's confessional was so funny too, where he was like, "Yeah, he just really got me. He courted me. I had to double down and tell him I was gay."
He's like, thanks for outing me. I'm like, John, Rob didn't out you. Like, let's
Yeah,
just be real here. Like,
the belly button ring did.
the belly button ring, the 6'9" yin yang tattoo, like, there were some clear indicators, my love. I looked him up and down and I said, John's a, what did he say? He's a Fruit Loop.
He's a Fruit Loop. He's a fruit cake. He's a fruit cake.
What's crazy because like we have more context obviously than Rob did was when he goes to the summit with Kathy and they get like trashed off of like 22 beers. He says that she's gonna be his next Sarah, and
Oh.
we know Kathy ain't no Sarah. But the fact that he was like feeling that all right, I'm like, no.
Mm. As in, he thought that Kathy was just gonna fall in line.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm, I see.
Obey.
All they got to do is obey. What else did he say? He quoted The Godfather. He's like, "Fear makes people loyal. Fear makes
hmm
people loyal."
Also, I love that we're showing off how bad we are at Boston accents.
I know we're like doing like New York accents, like
We are,
1950.
yeah. So, what would you give Rob
I
for?
would give Rob a C plus.
Okay.
Like I think he did spectacular pre-merge. He was running Maramu, but just the inability to pivot is something that I really can't forgive. I feel like so far our audience can realize that I really appreciate a game where you can pivot and think on your toes. Those are the games that I appreciate. And those are the games that I think are the most not only successful, but also the games that are the most satisfactory, I think. Boston Rob was not able to pivot. He was not able to like think on his toes. He was not able to roll with the punches as they came at him. So I'm bringing him down to a C plus. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say C plus. And great move on Kathy to get rid of him because I
Mhm.
think she would have had a much harder time in the end game with him around.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and she was still
Too
able to do
good.
all the things she needed to do without him. So,
He was just too good.
I did like though he had a really nice like final message. He was like, "Hey, I was playing a bit of a character, and I hope that we can all be friends after this." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, he's nice. He's
mm-hmm,
nice.
yeah, deep down,
I like Boston Rob. Like I
yeah,
like him.
yeah."
You know?
At this point
I
in
can ask for out of
Survivor,
a straight
yes,
man.
I enjoyed Boston Rob.
Yeah. This is like the most I can ask for out of a straight man. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now we're at the final nine, and we have basically the Rotu four. We have Pascal and Nalia. We have Sean and V, and then Kathy.
Hmm.
And it seems like the Rotu four are just gonna like keep steamrolling because Kathy is like, Nalia, like we should probably get out John, and Nalia's like, no, and Pascal's like, no, like I'm here to play like an honest game, and Kathy's like, oh my god, like Jesus Christ, like what am I gonna do? And then comes the rope cutting challenge.
Okay, so mark this, episode 8, the rope cutting challenge. Mark this episode 8, the second time that I think this season flipped the game on its head. The second time that I think the episode or the event changed everything. This really was the episode that, even more so than the tribe swap, even more so than the third moment I'm going to pick that changed the season. This I think was the most pivotal episode of Survivor Marquesas. Absolutely gobsmacked of an episode. I was rewatching this like last week when we were preparing for the podcast. Forgot how good it was. My God, everything changes this season because this is where we see we've kind of been building up to like Kathy being like, okay, I want to play, but nobody's willing to play with me. We see her kind of like come through this episode, and of course, we see the fucking hurricane of Sean come in. Episode. My God, the rope cutting challenge really just redefined the game because everyone thought, viewers and the other players in the game thought that the Rotu 4, not the Rotu, yeah, the Rotu 4 were just going to steamroll through the rest and they were going to be the final four. But the rope cutting challenge, they were stupid and they decided to cut everybody else who wasn't in the Rotu 4 first. And that's when, I don't remember who said it. I think Nalia said it when she brought it up to Pascal, where she was like, they just literally, quite literally told us the pecking order. They
Hmm.
told us the pecking order of who's going next and when. We need to regroup and we need to, what's the word, like rally together almost, you know?
Yes, yeah. It was so. I mean, again, it's like I don't want to be as harsh on these people because this isn't like season 35 or something where like we've seen all this shit happen before, but like really like think it through. Do you think it's really smart to like
Yes.
show who's like going next? Like they literally were like, "Oh, Sean, bye bitch. Kathy, bye bitch. V, bye bitch." And then guess what, Nalia, you're next.
Yep. Yep. Like nobody thought in the grand scheme of things, okay, I expect the general and Zoe to not think of anything. I get that. I didn't think anything of them. But you're telling me John and Tammy didn't say to maybe everybody else, they're like, okay, maybe we should just like cut, Tammy, why don't you cut my rope? You know what I mean? Or John,
Hmm.
why don't you cut Zoe's rope? Just throw off the scent a little bit. Gag that they never thought of that.
Especially because Rob had already called it out. Rob is like, "You four have an alliance.
Right.
Also, John, you're gay." And John was like, "No, we don't. We don't. I am gay, but no, we don't have an alliance." Um, and so you just like proved the point.
Right, right. And it just really flipped everything on their head. That was like a cardinal mistake. That was a fatal mistake that they made that changed everything.
That challenge allowed Kathy to grab this season by the throat for
Yep,
basically the rest of the season.
yep.
And John gets ousted.
Thank God.
Oh, we had another eye roll. We had another eye roll.
We're no,
What don't you
John,
like about John? Like,
John
what's
just
the beef?
big, gay, loud, and wrong. No, no. I'm trying to remember. There was like somebody else that we had talked about. Oh no, I remember Drew from season 45, where he's definitely one of those people that thought he was a huge threat when in reality, no one on that island and no one in the audience considered him one. Nobody ever thought he was a threat. Maybe they did, but I'm just trying to be
To
unfair.
you, he was not.
Yes, I'm just trying to be unfair to him. For example, I pulled out a quote that was like, from episode 5 talking about Gabe. He said, "I'll watch him, watch who he talks to, and deal with him accordingly." He did not watch him. He did not deal with him accordingly. He did nothing but thought he did something. Because I don't think Gabe going home was like his thing.
I don't think it was good for John.
No, it was horrible. It was like a horrible decision.
All paranoia.
But like for an example, in episode 6, after like the merge, or it might have been after the swap, but he was talking about Sean, and he had a confessional where he's like, "Everyone knows I'm running the show," because he was working to get Sean out. Um, he thought because he was the first person to say Sean's name that he was the one that orchestrated like that play to at least try to get him out. But when in reality, the former Maramu tribe, Vecepia, Sean, and Boston Rob inflated his ego to think that that was like his play in episode 6. And I did write down, it reminds me of Drew on 45, who thought all his plays were his, when in reality, D was the one who was calling all the shots for him. These are two men I don't like. I'm just going through listen, my notes on this season are extensive. The longest section I have on notes is Vecepia. The second longest is John.
Because you are what? A hater.
Because I am what a hater. I'm what a hater. I also wrote down he always gets hurt, reckless, embarrassing.
When Kathy had to pee on his foot because he stepped on an urchin.
He's so embarrassing. He's so embarrassing. You know? I can tell he's an RN because he has no patience for anything or anyone. Very unhealthy person, I think. His belly button ring. First off, his belly button ring was more of a main character than he was. And the fact that in the top 4 trivia challenge, Jeff Probst had to put his hands on his belly button ring and said, "Whose belly button ring is this, guys?" Of course it's Sean. Of course it's Sean. No, not Sean. Of course it's Sean's. My God. Anyways, once again, he is the type of person that he's like the running theme of the season where people falling victim to their own hubris.
Yes.
Falling victim to their own hubris. Even my unfair biases aside and my unfair hatred towards him, my reasons for not liking him are unfair. But the reasons I think he was bad at the game are fair because, once again, he thought he was just going to be smooth sailing. And I've said it before a thousand times, and I'll say it again 1,000 times. A good Survivor player should always act as if they're the next one to go. No, that's how I think you should always play. Yeah, so he was really just thought he thought he was running the show, and for a second there he was running the show. But once again, he was blind to see how that might potentially put a target on his back, and he failed to consider any possible consequences of being the man in charge. For example, in episode 8, the episode that he went home, there was a quote I pulled where he said, "Nalea and Pascal are really supportive of my successes." 2 minutes later, Pascal and Nalea, they're chit-chatting. They're like, "We need to get rid of John because they just told us the pecking order." Yeah. He got too comfortable, and I'm baffled more so than anything by the fact that he never possibly considered the thought that maybe, just maybe, the remaining 5 people that weren't part of the Rotu 4 could rally together and get them off one by one. So I'm going to give him like a D because I will put respect on his name. I do think he was the leader of the Rotu 4, and I think he was doing okay to like orchestrate some moves, even if they weren't successful. But I just think that hubris really got to him. And plus, I don't like him. So
I really like John. I like him as a character. I feel like I could hang with John.
Okay.
And I feel like we could like key a little bit. He is like very 2002 gay, like very his his luxury item. What do you think his luxury item was?
Belly button ring?
No, it was massage oils.
That's hilarious. Looks like he didn't use them though.
I liked
start beef with this 59-year-old man.
No, literally
in Omaha, Nebraska. let me start beefing him online.
I enjoyed his storyline. Like, yes, he was very cocky, and yes, he had moments where you're like, oh god, like this is you're getting a little too big for your britches there, Johnny boy. Right. But like I liked the storyline. I feel like every good storyline has a hero and it has a villain, and he was like a great villain.
Yeah.
So I liked him. I think he went home just like everyone else at the perfect time. Yes, I have this because I'm dealing with anxiety today. So I'm really just doing this under my desk.
Do I give you anxiety?
No.
Oh, you give me anxiety. Oh.
um, but I don't know. I had fun watching him, and like his
Yeah.
downfall is an iconic moment.
Right.
So I don't know. I would be interested to see, and we'll see if it happens or not. Like on a return, what he would do.
Yeah. You know, the other thing too is about him is that he definitely thinks he deserves a return. I don't think he deserves a return. He definitely thinks he
I
deserves a
would
return.
love to see him come back
I'm happy for you. I'm glad for you.
because it's like, could he fix those mistakes, or is that just who he is to his core?
I
You
think
know.
that's to his core. I will. I also think he was just too paranoid as a person as well. Kind of not like necessarily akin to Lex from season three, but I think he was like anytime anybody went off talking, he was like, "We need to cut them from the alliance right now, right now." You know. For example, with Gabe, Gabe went off and talked to people. He was like, "We need to get rid of Gabe. Gabe is making a line. We gotta get rid of Gabe." Um, so that's kind of like what I think about how he played. So I don't know. Oh, speaking of Gabe, when he like when Gabe went home, I also think one of like the biggest blunders is John telling Sean about eliminating Gabe. I think that was a huge blunder because I just think that really exposed who John was to Sean.
Yep.
And Sean already wasn't warming up to John, and I think that like solidified it because that was the moment that confirmed to Sean that John was going to get rid of people was going to get rid of people that could be helpful later on. I think he in that moment realized John was kind of a loose cannon and had no loyalty to people. And I think that's what like, kind of motivated him to like we need to take this guy down. We need to what's the word? What's like a good word for like we need to knock him down a peg or two, you know?
Yeah, I think that is the beginning of the end for John's game is
Yeah.
getting rid of Gabe because I think
Yeah.
if Gabe is at the merge, he's gonna want to stay Rotu strong,
Right.
and then there's no way that like Nalia and them could have like done that flip.
Because Maramu did not build a society. Rotu built a society.
No, yeah, no. Mana Amu built a dictatorship under Rob, while the other ones were building a society.
Maramu Maramu built like a post-Soviet Union.
Yes,
No.
yes. So yeah, I would give him a C. I think
Okay.
he has leadership abilities. He obviously had strategic mind for the game, but he couldn't overlook his own cockiness, his own hubris to really
Yeah.
decipher what the best moves were and how to not make himself the biggest target, like clearly
Exactly.
on that beach.
Exactly. And I think the show did a good job to really portray that in him.
Hmm.
Like every other confessional, not even every other confessional, 75% of his confessionals were him saying like, I'm doing so good.
Yeah,
I'm doing so good. He
yeah.
was not doing good, by the way. He's like, I'm doing so good. I'm running the game. I'm running the
Well, and it's
tribe.
like he was the power player for a portion of the game,
For
but
like an
that's the problem is
episode.
that he loved it. He
Yeah.
loved it a little too much,
Right.
and he wanted everyone else to know that he was. When like you should be running the game, yes, but like no one
Yep.
else should be able to clock that.
Exactly. Exactly. And you should only really come out as the one person running the game until the very end.
You
You
should,
know?
yes, you want the flowers when you win, not in the middle of the game when like
Exactly. Exactly. I think we said this when I was talking about Africa. In Drag Race, for example, you can, as long as you do well at some point, it doesn't really matter when you do well. In Survivor, it's the end game that matters. You can't be too good too early.
yeah.
John was good. I'm not gonna say he was too good. He was like fine. He was fine early, and that was his downfall. T.
Yeah, I thought he was a great character. I enjoyed watching him.
Yeah.
And John Carroll, thank you for what you brought. Because he was an integral piece of the puzzle for the season to work the way it did.
Yes. Yes.
So,
So it's so funny, like listening to you with your little.
can you hear it? Oh, shit, can you hear it?
Yeah, I can.
I thought that Zoom would.
I can only hear it. I can only hear it when it's on the table.
Sorry.
Like you
Sorry,
like have to
listeners.
laugh.
This is an ASMR.
But you better be just riddled with anxiety. You better just keep your anxiety out.
Okay, so then we have one of my favorite episodes because it is so crazy and so funny and delusional. We have Zoe's boot. And Zoe, she is really not on the season much until her boot episode. She gets like a little bit here and there. You kind of hear her thoughts, but she's really not a main character because they are like, oh, she'll have her moment when we decimate her in the edit.
This episode is so funny.
It's so funny.
So funny. First off, if I were her, I'd be selling those friendship bracelets.
Mm.
Yes, let me make Zoe friendship bracelets for everybody. I love this.
Hmm.
But the episode that she goes home is so funny in so many ways because you, unlike some other people from the Rotu 4, you just feel her. Guys, I'm not part of the Rotu 4, guys. LOL.
I want to be part of the team.
I want to be part of the team. Did your mom ever love you? You could feel just that desperation
Mm.
that was just so funny. She started making friendships bracelets. My personal favorite though is like when she was when her and Tammy were going out walking on the store, and Zoe was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. We were never in an alliance. I've never liked you. We were never in an alliance. I actually quite hated you, actually, frankly. Actually, I voted for you a couple of times." Like she was like just lying.
Tammy the woman was too stunned to speak. Like Tammy
And
literally is just like
did it in private. Like nobody was around. And I was
No,
like,
she had-
I was going to make that point.
it was between them and God, and she still chose to be like insane. Because Tammy literally is just like, it sucks we lost John. Like, what are we gonna do now? It's just the three of us. She goes, 3 of us? I was never with you.
My God.
Now leave me alone while I go make Nalia her 3rd friendship bracelet for the day.
And the funniest part about all this too, this woman is a fisherman.
Queen.
She spent her time on a boat.
said
She's not making friendship bracelets for anybody.
She said she lives 12 miles off the shore of Maine.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good. Yeah.
The first bullet point that I have, because she is somewhat in a couple of episodes, because Rob goes to her whenever he needs someone to like low-key expose what's going on, because she's a horrible player, and he'll be like, "So Zoe, are you in an alliance?" And she's like, "Rob, me in an alliance? No. Are we best friends? Yes. Would I give them my kidney? Yes. Are we in an alliance? No, baby. No, we are not." And Rob is like, "Uh-huh."
She actually told Rob that she quite literally hates Tammy, never liked Tammy, never in a partnership with Tammy.
Oh my gosh. No, and it's so funny because like Rob is like, again, another time he goes to her because he's trying to get Kathy to flip on Rotu, and so he brings Kathy to talk to Zoe because he's like, "I know this bitch is gonna say something that's like, very damning."
Right.
So he says, "Did you not say you wanted to vote out Kathy?" And she goes, and just sits there, and then she's like, "No, I would never say that." And he says to her, "You paused and you lied."
God, Boston Rob was really clocking the Rotu bitches left and right.
Yes, he always picked her because he's like, she is the weakest bitch here.
Yes, and it's just so funny, like watching the Rotu 4, because knowing how good the Toggy 4 was, even if they had Miss, what's her name, Susie Wigglesworth, Kelly's Wigglesworth. Even though they had Kelly Wigglesworth, who was like kind of like waiting on the alliance, even if they had Rudy, who was more of like a follower than anything, seeing the Toggy 4 with like Rich and Sue, and even Rudy a little bit, versus like how bad the Rotu 4 is, all in like tandem with it. It's so funny to see. It's so funny to see. Zoe especially was just the epitome of it, of how bad it was.
Yeah. She's wonderful. I love watching her. She's so funny. One of my favorite moments is in her like final message. She's just like, "Oh my gosh, like I had so much fun, blah blah blah." And she's talking to the viewing audience at home. She goes, "Sweet dreams to all."
With her smile too, mind you.
To the podcast listeners, I just winked, blew a kiss, made bedroom aisles, and then smiled. Because that is what she did in that order.
Oh God, Zoe.
Oh, F minus. F minus.
I'm gonna give her
player. Amazing TV.
I'm gonna give her an F. I'm not giving her an F minus because I think, and we'll talk about this a little bit more with the general, I think her and the general were like happy to make John the front player of their alliance. They were like, they would like sit back and let him be like the target if anything were to go awry. The reason she still gets an F though is because of all the reasons you listed, as well as the fact that she was like happy with John being the leader, but then if John's gone, I didn't put any fail safes for myself.
She has to fall back on her jewelry making. You know what I mean? It's
She needs to start a little shop on TikTok shop.
She does. She does. It's so funny. She literally hands Kathy a friendship bracelet, and Kathy goes, "Oh, that's darling."
And the best part about it too is like when she's making the bracelets and she hands them over, she treats the bracelets like she's an influencer showing off the products that she was sponsored by. Like, hey,
The
camera, look at this friendship bracelet.
hand behind, yes. It's so funny. How darling.
Oh, darling.
So then Tammy would have gone in this past episode, but Tammy won immunity, so that's why they went for Zoe. So Tammy is the next to go as like basically the second head of the snake
Mhm.
of the Rotu Four. What did you think about Tammy?
So I actually thought Tammy was the second best player of the Rotu 4. I thought she did good, and she was doing the pillar of Survivor playing, where I thought, especially like towards the end of her lifetime there, she was playing as if she was the next one to go. Like she knew
Hmm.
she was the next one to go, and she was cognizant of that. And so she had to find ways to get herself out of that. However, I think her execution of doing that was misfounded because her way of doing that was like, I'm the next one to go home, therefore I need to train for immunity. She thought the immunity was the only way to save herself instead of like, let me go make buddy buddy with Kathy over here. Let me go do X, Y, and Z. Let me try to make relationships. She thought like the immunity was her only way of doing that. And that's how she won two immunities in a row. That's how she like won against, I think, Vecepia in the handstand, not the handstand, but like
Stilts.
the stilts challenge, you know, like that's how she did it because she practiced. She was like, I need to win immunity or else I'm gone, which she would
Hmm.
have been.
Yeah.
But I think she was too laser. She had too much of a tunnel vision on the immunity than anything. Because the immunity can only buy you like 3 more days. You know,
Right.
it can only do so much. You got to think about what else you can do to make, to save yourself. Um, yeah, Tammy was like, I liked Tammy. I thought she was an interesting character though. Like, you know what I was gagged though? I don't know why I noted this, but the fact that the top four trivia immunity challenge, there were 3 questions for Tammy. There were 3 questions about her.
She's lived a life. She has a bunch of journalism awards because she does
Mhm.
like true crime journalism or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did she ever end up
So
working for the New York Times?
some MSNBC or something like that. Like
Oh, good
she's
for
like
her.
had like a really great career
Mhm.
before and since the season. I like Tammy a lot. Like I feel like there were moments in the season where she would almost be like alluding to the fact that she knew that John might be fucking it up for them a little bit, but she wasn't about to like step on his toes or anything. But I feel like she had a nice strategic mind, and my issue with Tammy is we get a whole scene with her. I think it's the episode that John goes home where she's like, I really like these people. Like, I genuinely like everyone here, and I hope that they can understand that I'm playing this game and it doesn't affect how I feel about them as people. And I really hope that they can see that.
Yeah.
That's fine and dandy, Tammy, but then why did you go to the final tribal and say, you wanted to go to jury, Nalia, and we gave you that. But then you got greedy and you just had to win and you had to be nasty and vote us out. I was like, Tammy, you can dish it, but you couldn't take it.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Although to be fair, she did at the very end of her speech say like, "You guys beat me at my own game. Congratulations."
She was very cunty. Like
She
she was
was.
giving she was giving the Jerry bastards.
Bastards. All of them bastards.
You
Not
got
the boar worms.
not the Borgs. Nalia, you got so greedy.
You hide behind your faith, your holier than thou attitude. Yeah, her like the funny thing about her speech to the top two as well is that she never stopped to consider that maybe, just maybe, Nalia and Vecepia being honest, or sorry, not being honest about their game and hiding behind that holier than thou attitude might still be a strategy. Because you know
Mm.
what? Who's still in the game? Vecepia and Nalia. You know who's not in the game? Tammy.
Miss
The
Tammy.
plan.
Yeah, I like Tammy a lot. I would give her a B minus.
What'd you give her?
A B minus.
What'd you give John?
I gave John a C.
Okay.
I just think that Tammy was more aware of like how dangerous territory they were in with how John was acting. And then she did try and like stay afterwards. She's like, I'm
Yeah.
not just gonna like, you know, lay dead.
I'm gonna give her a D plus. I
Oh.
just I yeah, I just think she was too misfounded about only relying on immunity.
That's fair. Question for you.
Uh-oh.
The round that Tammy went home, final seven. If
Yeah.
she had went to Kathy and proposed that they get rid of, or they split up Nalia and Pascal, would Kathy have gone for it?
Wasn't that the same episode that no, 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 no. I don't think she would have. I don't think she would have. It wasn't until after getting rid of the Rotu 4 that Kathy started thinking about how tight Nalia and Pascal were.
Yeah.
I don't think she was playing like that. I think she realized how important that those two were at that point in the time, at that point in the game. I don't think she would have. I don't think she would have went for it.
Yeah.
I think
I
she
agree.
was like, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, glad we figured that out. I thought you were.
That was all I had. In sixth place, we have the General.
Mhm.
Called the General because he has a general tattoo of like the fucking General commercial
And his
on his arm
hair.
and the hair. Uh, he had a really gross foot injury earlier in the season, and they showed a lot of it.
I remember.
There was skin hanging off in chunks.
Ugh.
See, and that's why Survivor made me afraid of the ocean because you could really just like step on a broken shell or
Right.
like step on an urchin.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
mama. It was terrible. They tried to drown me in the ocean. Yeah. The general, like, and the funniest part about him too, when they all merged and went to the Soliantu, he's like, "I'm not wearing pink. I'm not wearing pink." When the buff was fully purple, that was
He's wrong and colorblind.
purple.
He said, I don't care. Real men don't
I,
wear pink."
I don't care. I got something to say to use. What do you? I got something to say to the both of use.
He was really barely in the episodes, but he did have a strategic moment earlier on where he was like, "I'm fine with John taking over because he's gonna take the fall." And what
I
happened? John took the fall.
Yep, I wrote that exact quote down. I know exactly what you're talking about. The quote was, "I'm going to sit back and relax. Let John take the grief. He's the one that's going to be the target."
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
That was the one time that New York Rob ate.
Yeah. He seemed cool. He seemed fine. He got kind of grumpy after they voted out John.
Right.
But he said when he voted out Zoe, he said, "My one valuable contribution to the tribe is voting out Zoe."
Uh, and that was the episode that like they were. I'm surprised that the general didn't get more votes that episode. I will say
Yeah.
that episode that
Yeah.
Zoe went home.
Yeah. Well, and I think the part of it was just Zoe with the friendship bracelets,
Yep.
and it was just too much.
I'm gonna give him my Who award. I'm gonna give him my Who award. I don't care.
Oh. Okay.
I would have given it to Zoe, but Zoe's friendship bracelets really just took her home for me. That was hilarious. But I'm gonna give him my Who award. I'll give him a D plus. Sure.
Yeah. Zoe really said, "I know this is the episode I'm going home. I'm gonna serve as much cunt as I possibly could in this
Yep.
one episode."
Yes, I've actually never met Tammy in my life. John, quite literally, I called him queer many times. In general, I wanted him dead. I was actually the one who bit his foot. Um,
Oh yeah, there's really not a ton to say about the general. I liked him more and more, and that's the thing that I really like about this season is like it focuses very heavily on people who don't make it super far in the beginning. Like Rob, like Hunter, like Gina. But then as the season progresses, the people that make it further get more screen time. So it feels like everybody got time in the sun.
yes. Yes.
So I'll give him a C minus.
Sure. It's all arbitrary.
Yeah, D plus. D plus. He was going to give his immunity necklace to Tammy, uh, the episode that she went home, but she said no.
She said no.
Yep. She said, "You
Good.
earned it. Let's not do that, because I wouldn't have given
Because
it
the
to
general
you."
was going to go home.
Yeah. So, and now we're at our top five.
Iconic
And
top five.
incredible top five. We have two duos, whether they want to admit it or not, and Kathy in the
Yep.
middle of it all.
And Kathy.
And Kathy. This was a very tensious episode. Is that a word?
Yeah, I think so.
It was a tense
It's a tenth
episode.
episode.
How did you feel about everything that went down in this top five and the direction that Kathy decided to go in?
It's interesting. I think she had more loyalty originally to Nalia and Pascal. I
Hmm.
do think she did that. But this was also the same episode, or maybe it was episode the top six, where she realized she's like, we need to separate Nalia and Pascal.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that that tribal council is what determined that Kathy was going to vote for Sean and not for Pascal and Nalia.
Yeah. Sean has like a temper tantrum,
Yes.
basically.
I feel like Sean really just kind of like burned any bridges that he had in that moment. And I
Yes.
think that kind of encompasses my number one problem with his game was that he was too focused on every man for himself. I think he was like so laser focused on every man for himself that he burned all the bridges that he possibly could, and there was no escape route for him when he needed it most. Compared to other people who I think like made sure they kept relationships open to keep their options open in case they needed it. For example, Vecepia, for example, Kathy.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's where Sean really faltered.
Yeah.
But I still think he's a good player. I think he was a really good player because he, once again, the tried and true strategy, play as if you're always going to be the next person going home. And he was always going to be the next person going home. He had his name in everybody's mouth for like the first half of the season. Pre-merge, everybody wanted Sean to go home. Post-merge, everybody wanted Sean to go home. Like nobody wanted Sean there, but he was able to really capitalize on some flaws in other people's strategies that he could bounce back on, and it really carried him to the top five. Even though I think Kathy, for example, was the one who started, she was the one who kind of like started cracking the Rotu alliance. Sean was the one who came in with the hammer and chisel and just drove it right in.
Yeah.
That was the minute that he said, "Okay, Kathy, Nalia, Pascal, you need to come in with us on this. Otherwise, we are going to be going next."
Hmm.
He almost had like this eagerness and like a vindictiveness to survive as long as he did. He just like was eager to do it and really just bring down the egos of some of the men he was playing with.
Yeah.
And I really respected that.
Yeah.
But I just think he was too skeptical of other people. I think he was too focused on just the every man for himself that it just really faltered him when he needed it most.
I feel like Sean and Vecepia were like the perfect unit duo
Yeah.
because they had what the other lacked. And I feel like if you were to put them together into one human, it would be the perfect survivor player because
Yeah.
Sean had the agency, Sean had the like I don't care. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to make the move. I'm going to da da da. Whereas Vecepia had the restraint that was necessary at certain moments and the ability to sit back and look at everything that was going on around her
Yes.
and then make the decision. Whereas Sean was very emotional.
Right, exactly. Because like a good survivor game is all about balance. It's
Yes.
about balancing when to act versus when to sit back. It's about balancing when to be skeptical versus when to be trusting. It's all about that balance. And so that alliance that they had there, whether it was named or not, whether it was specifically pronounced as an alliance or not, was the perfect duo, was the perfect
Mhm.
partnership that really carried them all the way to the end. It was just kind of like a last minute happenstance and stumble on Sean that kind of split them up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because when Sean didn't have his back against the wall, when they were just taking out all the Rotu and he was fine, he was so likable. He was the narrator. He was so funny. He had so many good moments. But when his back was against the wall, he had a temper. He was
Yep.
going off on people. He was
Yep.
being rude in the confessional. Like he had these like two sides. So it was like sometimes he was just like very unlikable, and sometimes he was super likable.
But the best part about it, though, that fight that he had with John, amazing. Amazing TV.
Uh-huh. Well, and it was there's moments on this season like I don't know if they just weren't recording every moment, but there were so many things that they would mention happened, but we never actually saw. Zoe saying that she wanted to vote out Kathy. We
Yep.
heard it and I believe that she said it, but we never actually saw the footage.
Right.
And Sean had mentioned that him and John had some really deep conversations about both being from kind of like marginalized communities and how they really bonded over that, but that kind of all went out the window after Sean flew off the handle. So
Right.
like, and I would have loved to see that conversation, but again, it's 2002. How much are they really going to put on TV about that?
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, so. But I don't know. I think that Sean almost had Kathy. Like he had her. The food was hanging on the hook, and she
Yeah.
was like about to nibble, and then he just blew up at Tribal, and it was
Right.
like
Because he did have Kathy, like he was one of Kathy's confidants at the start of the merge when they first consolidated their power in order to get rid of the Rotu, in order to get rid of John. He had her then, and I think he just fumbled her. It really
Yeah.
all revolved around Kathy. He fumbled her at the last minute, and it just really cost him everything.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that was kind of a running storyline for Kathy, which I guess we'll get into later, but like she always knew the right move, but the problem was were the people that she was with able to go on that journey with her or
Because she was on a season,
push her in a different direction.
right? Because she was on a season with a bunch of insane people.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, I really like Sean. I like that we kind of get the dichotomy and we see him at his best and we see him at his worst.
yes. That's
Um,
why that's why I like to call him a hurricane. He was like a hurricane. Like when he was flying through the camp, so many people lost, like so many people were left in his wake. John was left in his wake. Most of the Road 2 people were left in his wake. Like some of the people pre-merge were left in his wake. He was a hurricane. But in addition to that, he destroyed any potential other relationships that he could have used later on. He wasn't able to rectify that.
yeah,
So I think he was good. I think he was powerful, but I think he was a little reckless.
yeah.
But because of that, I still think he's a really good player. I'm gonna give him a B.
I'm like C plus B minus because like I
Okay.
do think that he knew the paths that he needed to go on to go further, but he didn't know how to talk to people in a way that would make them want to go on that path with him.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go C plus,
Okay. Okay.
but love Sean.
Love Sean.
And him and V really have like I would say they're even like focused on more than Pascal and Aaliyah as like a duo. Like there's so much development given to like Sean and V's relationship throughout the
Yes, very
season.
much so. Especially early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're at our final four. Kathy, last second, chooses to side with Pascal and Aaliyah. Now she's in a pickle because V is probably the next to go, and then she's going to be in the final three with the duo. But V wins the immunity, which we'll get
And we'll
into
get to
that
that.
later. There's tea on that. And that means that one of Kathy or Pascal or Nalia are going to have to go, and Kathy goes to rocks. And Pascal uh, chooses the purple rock and is the first person rocked out of the game.
Don't piss me off. Wait, hold on, pause. What do you mean first? Does it happen again?
There's more rocks to be had.
These are the rocks that Deb Eaton wanted to build their shelter out of.
Hey guys, we got a lot of rocks. We could build our whole shelter just out of these rocks.
God. It's like, don't piss me off. What do you mean? What do you mean? They have to pick in a bag out of 3 rocks, and that's
Would,
going to determine.
would
Don't
you
piss me
prefer the
off.
Quizlet?
I thought they said the Quizlet wasn't an option.
Well, I mean, would you prefer that, like when they what they did with Lindsay and Carl? You're like these names
Who?
mean nothing to me.
Who?
On Africa, Lindsay and Carl, because there were no votes cast prior, they had a tie and they had to do like a quiz on like Africa.
Oh
And
yeah, I'd rather do that in a heartbeat. Oh yeah.
really, I'm a huge rock fan.
No, no, that's stupid. No, tell me. Okay, like I understand that Survivor is about. I've literally said it multiple times this podcast. Survivor is about like throwing blindsides at people, but you're telling me the blindside you throw at a person is a rock.
Well, I see it as a punishment for not taking the game into your own hands, for not just like, making the decision, right or left.
That's
You
stupid.
you now all face the wrath of the survivor gods.
Cruel and unusual, I call it.
I think it's great. And I play Survivor and I've gone to Rocks a couple times and it's exhilarating. It's exhilarating television, it's exhilarating to do it in the moment.
Have you ever gotten eliminated by a rock?
No, I haven't. I
Wow.
haven't.
How many times have you gone to rocks?
Probably like two or three. But I was production on a Survivor game, and there were rocks twice in the same season, like 3 cycles apart.
Hmm.
It was very exciting. Rocks don't expect rocks every season. It's few and far
Thank
between.
God.
But it does. That is now when there is a tie. That is how it is solved.
Stupid.
I love it. I love it.
But I even thought what was even more stupid was them trying to be like, all right, the tiebreaker, talk it out, guys. Talk it out.
Well, it's like
Decide
giving them
if
one more. It's like your last chance. Like figure it out, or if
Mhm.
you can't come up to with the decision,
We'll do it for you.
we'll do it for you.
Don't piss me off. Don't
Maybe
piss me off.
you'll like it. Maybe you'll like it more in the future.
Well, maybe I'm just like bitter because it was Pascal.
You
That was
liked him?
like, huh?
You liked him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you for having me. It was lovely. Oh, sorry, is a hot take to like Pascal, the judge? It's a hot take.
I don't know. I don't know actually.
I mean, he's not my favorite, but like he's nice. Yeah, I like him.
I have thoughts on Pascal.
Oh, Pascal. I keep saying Pascal.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he is. I think he's like 80.
Good for him.
Um,
Oh, he just had his birthday.
Happy birthday, Pascal.
Mhm.
Pascal English. I miss when they. I like how in the first episodes of this they show them in their like in the wild.
In their occupation.
Yes, they should do that again.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of miss that. I
Mhm.
like the little like introduction that Jeff Probst does. Pascal English, judge from Thomaston, Georgia.
And he's just like in his robes behind the podium.
Right.
Yeah, I miss that.
Linnea Dennis, a student from something something Utah. I was going to say also Pascal English. That is a great name for a judge. Of course, he's a judge.
Yeah, it's
That
giving
makes
like
no-
it's giving Akatar character.
Wait, no, don't tell me. Akatar. Where do I know that? A Court of Thorn and Roses.
Mhm.
Hate that.
I feel very similarly about Pascal as I did about Sean, where sometimes they are very, very likable, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, that's not a good look.
What did Pascal do? What do you do?
I feel like, okay, sometimes he's just like the really nice old man that you
Right,
can
right.
trust your kids around. And then he says shit like, an old guy like me with 3 women, that's heaven on earth.
Oh, he does say that, doesn't he?
And it's like, okay, I thought you were the cute grandpa. Now you're like horny for these women. Like, I don't know about that.
Kind of forgot about that. Ooh.
Gabe wrote him a poem.
Did you like the poem?
Did he read it out loud?
Yeah. No, Nalia did. Nalia did.
Oh, well, I don't remember it. So
Oh,
I'm not a poetry kind of guy.
why not?
I don't know.
You're a film major.
It's kind of pretentious sometimes.
I mean, if Gabe wrote it, Gabe was probably building a society as he was
He
writing
was
it.
like, we built this together brick by brick, and we'll fall brick by brick.
We built a society, and child, that's when you clock a T.
They found a body.
But the child's a gag.
They found a corpse. They did that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They found that skull. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's like Tammy Brown. Did I ever tell you about the time I found a dead body?
Except Pascal's telling like the absolute truth.
Right.
It really happened. Oh, here's where Pascal loses me. So the topic of race comes up a lot in the episode with the top five. And Pascal, who has seemed so loving, he seemed so chill. Like he was good with John the queer, like he seemed very chill. Suddenly, when V and Sean are acting in a way that he doesn't love, he's like, it's cultural.
I did write that down.
I'm
I
like,
did write
shut
that
up,
down.
shut
Yeah.
up. He literally, they had a whole episode where they bonded and they
Yep.
went to this Marquesian tribe and got to hang out with them and ride some horses and they were laying together and crying together. And he's like, Sean, like I've grown to love him so much. Suddenly, Sean and V are like acting a way he doesn't like, and he's like, I would be absolutely sick if they
Yeah.
made it to the end. What does that mean? I don't
Yeah.
like the tone. Don't like
All,
the tone.
all of a sudden, in that moment, it seems like Pascal would be the judge that would sentence a large portion of the black community in Georgia.
Hmm. He even said, Kathy, and he said in a I don't know if he said it in a confessional or if he said it to Nalia, but he's like, Kathy's from Vermont. I'm from Georgia. I know what I'm talking about.
What? When did he say that?
I don't remember. He wrote it down. It was in that episode where he was talking with Kathy and she's like, I don't know. He literally says it's cultural. And then she's like, yeah, I don't know. And then he cuts to him and he's like, Kathy's from Vermont. I'm from Georgia. I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, don't like that. Don't like that.
Right.
Sometimes he's really chill and he seems like a nice old dude, and then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
don't know if I like that.
So, anyways, F.
Please. How do you think he played?
I think he did good. I really like this quote. Once again, back to the pivotal episode of episode 8. Was Noodles here?
Noodles cameo.
Hello, Noodles. Hi, Noodles.
ASMR.
That was so audible.
Could you hear it really?
Yeah, I could hear her purr.
She says hello.
Hi, Noodles. For the podcast listeners, Derek picked up Noodles and she's very cute and waved her arm. Now he's hugging her dearly
Okay. What did you think about Pascal?
because he can't use his fidget toy.
I'm gonna use her instead.
Once again, back to the pivotal episode of episode 8, which I think changed the entire season, was when he said, I didn't start playing the game until very late. I didn't start playing until today, in fact. I think him and Nalia really had a moment of reflection with the Rotu 4, and that's the moment that they decided that they need to start showing up and start mattering. And I do think they did matter. And honestly, I think if he made it to top 2, I think he might have won. I think he might have won. He had a good chance to win. Um,
If he was there with Nalia, do you think he would have beat her?
I think he would have beaten Aaliyah.
Yeah,
I
I
think he would have
agree.
beaten Aaliyah. If he was there with Kathy, I don't think he would have won.
No.
If he was there with Vecepia, I think he had a strong chance to win, more of a 50-50, but I think he would have won against Aaliyah 100%. He had a strong chance to win against Vecepia, and I don't think he would have won against Kathy, but I think he had like a 2 out of 3 shot to winning.
Yeah. Yeah. My issue with Pascal and Nalia is like Kathy was so on top of what needed to happen.
Right.
Pascal needed like physical evidence. He needed to see it for himself. And it's
Because
like,
he's a judge.
yeah, Kathy was very much like, I get the vibe, I catch the vibe, this is what we gotta do. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. Cut to
Right.
like that challenge. He's like, oh, nope, yeah, we gotta do it. So like he didn't have the instinct, but at
Right.
least he had the follow through.
He did. He did. Like he was not scared to make a move, but he
No.
just needed motivation to make a move.
Yes.
No
So
true noodles.
it's kind of hard to like grade him because like for so much of the game he did nothing, but he is one of the like I think him, Kathy, and Aaliyah changed the game of Survivor.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that top 4 just really changed everything.
Yeah,
Like point blank period.
yeah.
I'm gonna give him, I think of the top 4, I think he was the worst of those 4. I'm gonna give him C plus.
I will also give him a C plus. That feels correct to me.
Yeah, thank you.
B minus.
I think that's the first time we ever agreed.
Um, yeah, C plus.
Yeah.
That leaves our top three of
Sorry.
Kathy, Nalia, and Vecepia. Icons, legends,
Legends,
stars.
stars. Yep. Top 3, immunity challenge. Third and final thing that changed the season. Flip the season on its head.
What about it?
The top 3 immunity challenge where Vecepia betrayed Kathy.
Oh, not the
That,
challenge itself. What happened at the challenge? Okay, I got you. I was
well,
like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah.
I was like, what about the challenges?
Like,
Putting those hands on the pole, nothing was ever the same.
oh my God. Jeff Probst started lighting the fires. Nothing. But I think Vecepia betraying Kathy last minute changed the game forever. Well, not forever. Changed this season. Primarily because I think Kathy would have won against either Nalia or Vecepia.
Absolutely. And
I
Sean
think,
even said postseason, someone asked him if it was Kathy and Vecepia in the final two, how would the vote have gone? And he said it would have been 8-1, and I would be the only vote for Vecepia.
yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that sentiment. So, with that in mind, the tribe swap was the first. The rope cutting challenge was the second. This was the third. Because Kathy was not necessarily robbed, but it's interesting by the fact to ponder that she would have won if she had stayed. But
Yeah,
Vecepia betraying on her deal with Kathy not only flipped the game on its head, but it really won Vecepia the crown, in my opinion.
yeah,
Because Kathy was just such an interesting character, and I think she was I'm gonna give her one of the best. I don't know. Her and Vecepia are like 2 and 2 for me, who I think the best player of the season is. But Kathy was really working at it. She was the one who came up with so many different ideas on how to push forward in this game. It was just a matter of her finding people to go along with those plans
Hmm.
that she found difficult.
Yeah.
Um, but she really was working the game.
Yeah. I would add a fourth actually game-changing moment because I think we had the first live tribal at the top four when when Vecepia wins and is like talking to Kathy about their what they're gonna do. And Kathy's like, "Can we go off and talk about this alone? Because like this would happen at camp alone." And
Oh,
Jeff
at
said,
top four.
he said, "No,
Yes,
bitch, you're gonna do it right here, right now."
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of huge moments on the season. Kathy is one of my favorite Survivor players, people, personalities ever.
You
Love this diva.
you love Kathy Boots. You love every opportunity you get to mention Kathy, you mention her. Whenever we
Kathy
You love
Maverick
Kathy.
O'Brien, realtor extraordinaire. I just she started off in such a bad position because she was really trying to get the group together, get the shelter, get the food, get the fire, get the burr, and her tribe was really like, "We're gonna get to it. Like it's fine, Kathy. Like we're gonna do it." And she's like,
Yep.
"I need it now."
No, no.
But when you learn that she had never seen the show before, she had no idea what she was getting herself into. So
Yep.
she got there and she's like, "Bitch, we need to survive."
Right, right. See, I feel like if I were ever on Survivor, that's a strategy I would play. I'm like, yeah, I've never seen the show before.
But like, are you the one with the podcast? Never heard of it.
What podcast? No, no, no. I have a Drag Race podcast. I love Drag Race. Um, but I did not know that she didn't know had never watched the show at all.
Yeah,
I feel like at that point in time, if you're 4 seasons in, it's more realistic to expect that people haven't seen the show.
yeah,
But yeah, she was. I do think that checking her attitude early on really helped her a lot because when she fixed her attitude, well, attitude for lack of a better term, when she really fixed how she operated and her behavior, that really carried her through to the merge. I think.
yeah. She has this really good conversation with Gabe, that I think really kind of flips her approach, and that's the greatest thing about Kathy is she is adaptable. You put
Yes.
her in any situation, and she will bend and mold her game to fit that situation.
What have I been saying all episode long about how this season tests people's ability to pivot? Kathy
Hmm.
was able to pivot.
Pivot,
Kathy was able to pivot.
pivot.
Pivot, pivot. Keep them on their toes. Test out their abilities to really think on a dime. Test out their abilities to, if you throw all the rule books out the window, how do they respond? Kathy was able to respond well. I do think I'm gonna give her a little slack here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give her a little flack here. I do think she kind of got in her head a little bit towards the very end that I think kind of did not help her at all. For example, like when Kathy was like when I think she was what's the word I want to use? I don't know how to describe it specifically, but she was had a lot of self-doubt in her that I think might have dissuaded some of the voters in the jury. For example, when Pascal went home and she just like immediately took the rock, she's like, guys, it's gonna be me. Guys, it's totally gonna be me. Like remember how like Nymphia Wind was like, oh my God, guys, I'm gonna go home this challenge. I'm gonna go home this challenge.
Yeah.
And then she just absolutely blew out of the park. That's what I felt about Kathy sometimes, where she's like, guys, I'm not doing well. Oh, guys, oh, I'm going home. And then she would just absolutely come up with this amazing strategy last minute to be like, stay. I don't know. She was interesting like that as a person, but I'm just really impressed with her ability to like adapt.
Yeah.
Except for the end when Jeff Probst's like, you can't go back to the beach.
Although
Mm-mm.
she was like, she tried him. She's like, "Jeff, I'm not fucking doing that here. Are you kidding
Right,
me?" And
right.
he said, "You better."
Okay,
Yeah.
dare I say, what if she just got up and her and this got up? Like, what were they gonna do?
She's like, "Hey V, meet me out there. Meet me on the jungle."
Right. Because remember how like Valentina, remember how like there was that interview with Shea Coulee and Valentina was still doing her makeup
Mm-hmm.
and Valentina was like, are they gonna film without me? What if Vecepia and Kathy just got up and walked away? We're like,
Mm-hmm. No, literally, yeah.
what are
They could have.
stop
They
us?
could have tried it.
Yeah. What are they gonna do? Stop us?
Yeah. I think she's such a fun character, and also a really good strategist. And she was always, and I think I mentioned this earlier. She knew exactly what needed to be done. It was
Yes.
just a matter of could she convince other people of what was best for them as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
exactly. Which I don't think she was that good at. It took a lot of external factors to get people on board. It took Pascal seeing the challenge itself, pull out, like seeing the challenge itself to get him on board. It took
mhm,
Sean having a fight with John to get him on board. It took Vecepia was just, like I don't think she was that good at getting other people to hop on with her, but it just took external factors. Things had to fall in the right place for people to realize that what she was saying was the truth.
yeah, and I
Which
think
I think she should have been able to like convince people like you gotta get on with she should have been able to work that in her favor, which I
yeah.
don't think she's that good at. But yeah.
And I think part of that is because she started off and at certain points where the season was so like, "Ah, I'm acting." Like she was so just like in your face and she did like so much going on.
Yeah.
And I think it was hard for people to like maybe take her seriously at points.
Hmm.
Also, like she's an older woman and some of these young people don't really want to hear it. Then they said so on the season multiple times.
She is like if Patricia made it far.
But I was crunching like I looked, what does Doctor Strange say? I looked at 6 billion
Whatever.
universes and in
1 billion and 300. Yeah, only one.
and I didn't find one where Kathy makes it to the end. I think if she makes it
Yeah.
to the end in final two, she wins regardless.
Right.
But I don't see a scenario where she gets there. There just is there's nothing she can do to get to two that I could think of.
Is exactly what is going to bring her score down for me because you need to make sure you have that out. You got to have an out. You have to have an escape route at all You have to have an escape route at all moments.
Yeah.
But there were just too many factors working against her. She couldn't have predicted that Vecepia was going to betray her like that. There were so many things that she couldn't have predicted
Yeah.
that were just out of her favor, but I think she should have prepared for anything to go awry.
Yeah.
Which she did for the first 36 days, but that last day that she was there, that top three, she wasn't able to do that. Not in that moment, not in that scenario. So I'm going to bring her down a bit. I'm going to give her. I'm debating between a B plus and an A minus, but I'm leaning towards B plus.
I'm giving her an A minus because while there were definitely it wasn't a perfect game, she changed the game and
Yes,
she at many points did exactly what was the optimal move for her
right.
until even I think even making the deal with V was the optimal move. It's just that V wasn't gonna follow along with it in the end. So
Lovely.
yeah. So amazing. Uh I just need to say, body T, so I can't be mad. She would be walking around no bra.
Hello.
I was like, come on, bitch.
Right.
She
And the
was like
fact that that was
50.
the reason, the fact that her body was so T, that's the reason she lost the challenge.
Nalia's literally like, hey, honey, your boobs are popping out. And she's like, oh, and then she falls off.
Do you think Nalia did that on purpose?
I
Like,
don't think she did. I think that Nalia is a very sweet Mormon girl and saw this poor woman's boobs about to pop out on national television and was like, girlfriend, put the girls away.
hello, my God, the pussy is purring.
No, that's so funny that like the body was so T that it did her in.
That's what Jerry Manthi's challenge downfall should have been. Yep.
Yeah. Although Kathy did say she would not have lasted that much longer, and
Right.
it seems like V and Aaliyah were gonna,
Yeah, I think she said she would like only lasted an extra hour.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Nalia was like, Mama,
Um,
I've done this all night.
love her. Also, that fuck ass Bob she had in the finale.
Oh, yeah, I love that Bob. Eating.
Love Kathy. Love her.
Yep.
Now we have the top two. We have Nalia, and I just want to say she made it to the very end. I have one bullet point next to her name. Do you know what it says?
What does it say?
The mint.
I don't even know what that means.
The mint that she offered from her mouth to. They're like, did you bring us back any food? Everyone else who's gone on a reward has brought us back food. No, but I have this mint in my mouth, and it's so yummy. We could pass it around.
I forgot about that. We can all lick it like it's a popsicle. Okay, I feel like I have to show you this. So, top two, Nalia Vecepia, right?
Okay, yes.
So these are all my notes for Vecepia. For the podcast listeners at home, this is like a whole page. This is
Whole
Vecepia.
page. Whole page.
This
Tons
is the
of
thing you have.
notes.
Vecepia. Nalia's notes, right above Vecepia.
Two bullet points. Sorry, a
Two
bullet point and a point underneath.
Yes, I have 1.5 bullet points for Nalia, and I have 10,
30, 40.
10 for Vecepia. Nalia, I wrote nothing down for her except just, which is something I already said with Pascal, is that she didn't show up until the end of the game, where she was just like in episode 8, once again, episode 8, where everybody decided to start playing, where she said, if we don't break them up, talking about the Rotu Alliance, what chance do we have of surviving much longer?
Yes.
And but that's just like the episode that everybody decided to start playing. So is it really that special? Ooh. But
Yeah.
I don't have nothing for her. I got nothing for her.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
she was in the edit consistently. It's not like she was like no, like who, but they just like no, nothing was ever her idea.
Yeah. Yeah. She was just nice. She
Yeah,
was, yeah.
and then she played Cutthroat at the end and got to final two
Hello.
and flubbed. Can we talk about because we're gonna have so much to talk about with V? Can we talk about this final two, final tribal, and
Yeah.
how horrid it was
It was horrible.
for both
Actually,
of them? Both of them flopped.
I think Vecepia had some like good answers. Like she had some okay answers, but Nalea, okay, wait, how do you pronounce it? Is it Nalea? Nalia?
Nalia.
Nalia was floundering. Floundering.
Oh, it was bad. Everyone was saying, Jeff was like, did they answer your questions? And everyone was like, no.
My God. That was like such a blunder that I have not seen since Kelly Wigglesworth on season 1.
This was one of the worst final tribals ever.
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
Vecepia, who had a wonderful game, did not sell her game at all.
not at all. I mean, this is not a terrible final tribal because of the jury. That has nothing to do with the jury.
The jury
Like,
ate. The jury
ate
said,
them up.
personality, we got it.
Jury ate them up. Tammy won immunity for the final tribal.
Then you got greedy.
He got greedy. Um, yeah, it was just a horrible final tribal. Both of them were just so bad at selling what they were doing. My God.
There was a big conversation at Final Tribal about them potentially weaponizing their faith throughout the
Right.
game. How did you feel about that conversation?
Okay, this was kind of like one of my many bullet points for Vecepia. But I do obviously faith is a sensitive subject, so I'll try to, give it respect where I can. But I do think, especially for Vecepia, less so for Nalia, and if it did happen for Nalia, it was less shown in the edit. But I do think that their faith truly fortified their mind. But I do think a lot of their faith was in their gameplay. I do not think they were hiding behind their faith. I don't think they were hiding behind their faith. I think they actually had that foundations of their faith in them that really kind of put them through the game, but I don't think they were hiding behind their faith.
Yeah.
I think they were able to compartmentalize okay, yes, we have to lie and cheat to win this game, but that has nothing to do with how we operate in our faith. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it was especially difficult for Vecepia, and I think that's really where she struggled in the Final Tribal, is she did cheat, she did lie, she did do all the things that you do in Survivor, but
Mhm.
she could it's like she couldn't fess up to it because
Right.
does that make her a hypocrite then if she's preaching the gospel to everyone? Which listen, Vecepia did not get a ton of content this season, but what they did show content of? She led a prayer circle. She knew exactly how to lead a prayer circle, and she did
Hello.
it many, many times. One of my favorite moments, and I laughed so. It's not even because I'm laughing at her religion. It's just the delivery. She was like, she picked her tribal buff, and Jeff was like, "You're now a member of Rotu at the swap," and she goes, "God is good regardless." I was like, you know what? Sure.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? God is good. You know what?
She was just like, God is good regardless, and walked
Hello.
through her mat. I said, you better work, bitch.
Yes. Okay. Praise the Lord. All right.
She said that. Yeah, I mean, really for most of the season, I guess we're kind of going to Vecepia now a bit.
All right.
Our winner, Vecepia Towery.
Hello. But what did we give Nalia?
Oh shit. Oh, C.
Because who cares?
C. Who cares? C. I think I give her a C.
C. Sure. All right. Let's get to Vecepia.
The real meat and potatoes of this podcast. They would, for the whole pre-merge, the entirety of the pre-merge, they only showed Vecepia when she would be like, I'm over this drama, I don't want any more of this drama, or she was praying. That was literally it.
However, I will give her her flowers where her flowers are due. I was kind of hinting at this when we were talking about Hunter. I think she pulled one of the most underrated moves pre-merge immediately without even being prompted by Jeff Probst. She immediately called Hunter the leader of the group
Hmm.
immediately in tribal council. And that gave Hunter the validity of being the leader of the group. Therefore, I think she used that as an ace up her sleeve later down the line in case she needed to oust him because that will make him an easy scapegoat. I think she was so smart to do that, and it was a calculated move. I feel like you can tell that was a calculated move on her part because Jeff Probst did not ask her if there was a leader of the group. Nothing or anything. She just said, she's like, oh yes, as a tribe, we've been trying to come together, and Hunter has been very gracious to come as our leader. That just gave it, and saying it and speaking the name of it just really made it easy to oust him when they needed to as a leader. Because he can just take the blame when he needs to. He can just take the blame when anybody needs to. Boom. We failed. Get rid of the leader.
Sorry, Noodles is causing havoc left and right in my bedroom right now.
Noodles.
I agree. And my issue with Vecepia, and it's not just her game, but how she was able to talk about her game. And I'm wondering if it is the religious part of it, and she doesn't want to be saying
Right.
all of the shady things she's doing or all of the strategy that she's doing. Is she had so many very subtle things that she did throughout this entire game
Yep.
that positioned her so that later on in the game she was in a perfect spot to take it over.
Exactly.
It wasn't flashy, it wasn't big, but it was these little tiny things that they
Uh,
worked. But I don't think she was willing to say in the confessional all the things she was doing. Because you had Kathy. Kathy's like, oh, I'm thinking this, I'm going to think this, I'm going to do this. Da, 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 da. Vecepia they would never cut to her because I'm assuming she really didn't want to get into all of the little nasty moves she was doing throughout the game.
But that's why I think watching the finale was so fascinating, especially as a Vecepia fan, or a Vecepia watcher, because that was her episode. You remember? Okay, wait. Have you ever seen the movie The Usual Suspects?
No.
Okay, so The Usual Suspects, I won't spoil it or anything, but Usual Suspects is like world famous for like its jaw-dropping twist at the end. I won't spoil it, but it's about this detective. He's trying to solve these crimes and whatnot. And the last 5 minutes of the movie reveal who the villain is. It's somebody you least expect, somebody had you had discounted hours and hours ago, but in the last 5 minutes, they reveal him as the villain, and he gets away with murder. He gets away with murder, but it doesn't make sense until they reveal him as the villain. That's what it felt like watching Vecepia in the finale of Survivor Marquesas, because this finale was the moment that she really blossomed, I think, and this is the moment that everything started to fall into place, or everything started to be revealed about her. For example, she's like sitting there and we start seeing this strategic side to her that we probably missed out all season. First 5 minutes of the finale, she's like, I'm the only one of the top four who needs to work, and I'm going to work. 2 minutes later, boom, it's the trivia immunity challenge. And she says, she's like, one of my number one strategies coming in here was making a good social game, learning everything about these people so that can carry me through the end. And you know what it did? Carried her through to the end. It got her the immunity at trivia. And she was like starting doing all these crazy moves where she's like, oh, I think Gina is from someplace in South Carolina that starts with an L. And then immediately cut to her confessional. I know exactly where she's from. I know
Mm-hmm.
exactly where she's from.
Mm-hmm.
It all felt like coming together, and it was like we were revealing this villain. I wouldn't even call her a villain, but we were like revealing this mastermind behind the curtain out of nowhere. And even though I would have loved to see Vesepia's game throughout the entire season, it was kind of a gag to see her, who was a background player for 75% of the season, come out immediately. And we start to see all the pieces she was moving into place together to win her the crown and win her the money. It was fascinating, fascinating, but we just never got to see it in the edit until the very end.
And even then, when she's making all of these moves and stuff, she's never able to really explain it, in depth. It's always like she has an excuse of why she had to do it. It's like, oh, we don't need an excuse. You made a good move, just own
Right.
it. Even when
Exactly.
Kathy's like, why did you really cut me the way you did? But and she was like, well, I never said that I would drag you to the end, and I felt
Right.
and it was just like, girl, no, and she's literally answering Kathy's final question And Kathy, like, she's going on and on and on and rambling, and Kathy's just like, "You're not answering. This isn't what I. Oh, okay, all right."
Right, especially when Jeff Probst like asked Kathy and Vecepia, they're like, okay, so it seems like there was another last minute decision to change up. What happened? And Kathy was like, oh yeah, I thought Vecepia we were gonna carry each other to the end, but something's happened, c'est la vie. And Vecepia was like, well, then you got off the podium. So I thought, well, is it really like we're having an alliance still if you got off the podium? It's like, well, okay.
It's
Well,
like that makes no sense. Just say you're snaking her, because
right, right. But I will say, at least she owned up to it when the general asked her. She was like, sorry, when the general asked them, they were like, what was one play that, I don't remember how he phrased it. What was one play you don't regret doing? Or what was one play that, I don't remember what he said. And then she did own up to the fact she's like, betraying Kathy at top three, what I just did to Kathy.
yeah.
So she was able to own up into it that way, but she wasn't able to say, oh, I betrayed Kathy because I was going to lose.
Hmm.
But I
Which,
will say
like,
though,
it's
sorry, go ahead.
fine. It's fine.
Right. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's just like
Um,
these early seasons, they love integrity. They love integrity.
they do. They do.
Yeah.
Another one of my random favorite Vecepia moments is it's day 38. It's the night of day 38 going into 39. They just survived the final three. They are the final two and they're heading back to camp. And Aaliyah goes, "Oh, I can't believe it." And Vecepia goes, "What?"
See, Vecepia was like no nonsense. She was nonsense.
Yes.
One of my favorite moments was as they were going into the top four, where she was like, "I'm over these people. I love them, but I'm over these people."
Hmm. She was always so lovely. I like whenever she had screen time, it was always great. But that was her thing in the beginning was like, no, I don't want any drama. Like
Right.
there's too much drama, and that's what I think that really got her to where she was because she knew Sean and Rob would be taken out before her, and then
Exactly.
that would give her more wiggle room to like come up with another plan, and she was able to last long enough to find that plan.
Right. I completely agree with you there, especially when you consider the characteristics of the other people that were around her. I think one of the strengths of Vecepia, and I do think this has something to do with her faith and her foundation in her faith, but she was able to have a solid fortification in her mind and in her willpower. Whereas there were people like Sean who could have these really explosive personalities. There were people like John who had a lot of hubris and also had another explosive personality. She never let the game get to her. She never once faltered. She never once doubted herself. She never once doubted the people around her. She was able to stay calm and calculated through the entire thing. Whereas Sean was a hurricane. He was reckless. He was good, but he was reckless. Versus Vecepia, who was cold and calculating in a way. One of the quotes I wrote down for her was in episode 3 during Tribal. She said, like all things, we got to look deep inside ourselves if we want to win. And I find my inner strength in the Lord Jesus Christ. Once again, I'm not going to get into faith where I can, but that faith was the foundation for her to remain so focused, so calm, and so within herself. And I think, especially with a season with a bunch of insane people, that really carried her through very far.
Yeah. Like it's like, do I think she was too passive at points in the game? Yeah, probably. But when it really mattered, when it was gonna get her to final two, she got scrappy and she made,
Hello.
some shady deals and she cut
Yep.
people and she got to that final two with someone that she knew she could beat. And guess what? She beat her.
Exactly. Exactly. And the other thing too is like she would get scrappy, but she was like playing since the very beginning. She was playing every single day. But when you get to the end game of Survivor, you have to get messy. She was never messy unless she had to be,
Yeah.
which I really respected in her game.
Yeah. It's like I can't find many faults because even if I wish that she was more strategic at points in the season, it's like I think it was like the fact that she was like falling back a bit that made her
Yep.
not threatening and people were able to just like bring her along and to the point where then she was able to start being strategic.
Perfect example when she really started to separate herself from Boston Rob and Sean after they swapped tribes. She had nothing to do with them the minute they had to go to the Rotu tribe.
Yeah.
She had nothing to do with them.
Well, and that's why like I understood Sean's um frustration with with Pascal when he was like, "You have an unbreakable bond," and he's like, "It's not the same thing because you two have never gone against each other." Vecepia was off doing her own shit without me plenty of times.
Exactly, because Vecepia was there to win.
That part. Yeah, I would give Vecepia. It's hard because I feel like we didn't see her explain her
Mhm.
game. So how much of it was really strategy or how much of it is just her personality? But I think I'm gonna give her an a B plus.
Okay, I am giving her an A minus.
Okay.
I'm not giving her a B because I really respect the fact like I'm not giving her a B because I really respect the fact that she was playing since day one. She was always playing. I think she was the only one who's been playing every single day for that entire 39 days. I do. So I'm gonna give her an A minus, but just the fact that she wasn't able to explain and or own up to her actions kind of falters me a little bit, but she won, so who cares?
Yeah, I think my thing is I don't know if I can rank her because what did you give Kathy?
I gave Kathy a B plus. I gave Kathy a B plus.
See, I'm gonna swap it because I don't think Vecepia would have made it to the end if Kathy didn't make the big moves that she did. So it was really Kathy that was like solidifying that five. Kathy that was like making the moves that got Vecepia to the place that she was able to make those moves at the end. But like
Mhm.
if Kathy wouldn't have made those moves, I don't think Vecepia would have had the what's the word? The like bandwidth to do anything there. I
Okay.
think she would have just been like, I'm done. Like, what else
Yeah.
can I do?
Okay. See, I'm gonna disagree with you where I think that Kathy kind of fell victim to her paranoia versus Vecepia, who really was fortified in her mind that made her at peace with a lot of the decisions she was making, versus Kathy, who was like all immediately regretted voting off Sean, versus
Hmm.
Vecepia. She's like, I'm going to make this alliance with Kathy. But the minute Kathy wasn't able to carry me through the top three immunity, all right, gut Kathy. I think she had that willpower that Kathy didn't have. So I'm gonna give her. It's very close, but I'm giving her an A minus over Kathy's B plus.
So you think Vecepia is the best player on the season?
I do. I do. Um, and I think a lot of Kathy's gameplay was good, but it was always the forefront of the season. So I think a lot of people are convinced that it is good, or sorry, that it's better than Vesepia's. But just because of how Vesepia was edited, I don't think people appreciate it as much as they can. But I feel like Vesepia's ability to kind of play in the background the entire time, um, and getting to know people and whatnot and doing X, Y, and Z, I think she was the best player of the game of the season.
Yeah, I think they are very clearly the two best of the
Yes.
season. Like
I
very, very
I
clearly.
exactly. Like I said, I think Kathy would have beat Nalia or Pascal. And I think Vesepia was the closest to I think Kathy would have won no matter what. I do.
Yeah.
But I think Vesepia was the closest to Kathy. I think she would have like gave her a run for her money um in that top two. But I do think Vesepia's gameplay was better, but I just think Kathy just had like the likability to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting because Kathy, I think, beats everyone on that jury. I think she beats any one of the four.
Yep.
If she's sitting next to them because the other five would, or they'd have the four from the five versus the three from the Rotu four. She beats any one of those. She beats any one of the final five. But does she make it to the top two? I don't think she ever finds a way there.
Yep. So exactly. So she never had an escape route. Vesepia had an escape route.
And that's why I love this podcast because like we disagree on, or not disagree, but like we have two different perspectives on so many things.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you and I value different levels of gameplay.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, you in a game of Survivor, you have to always make sure you have an escape route. You always have to make sure you are like playing as if you are on the fritz. And versus you're like, I think you think that like sometimes that's not always the most important factor, but there's other games in play, or sorry, other factors at play where I don't
Hmm.
value that. But I'm the amateur, so what do I know?
Well, and that's what I like is because like I'm like jaded. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right, right.
Like I've seen it all, I've played it, whatever. But like you're discovering new strategies and like new things that excite you, and
Mhm.
that like is changing and evolving how you think the game should be played.
Right, right.
So.
Moral of the story, I think you should have as many options as you possibly can. Derek thinks keep one option, otherwise nobody likes you.
That is not what I'm putting words in my mouth. Um,
Um, but I will say, back when we first watched the season, when I first watched the season, I was texting you throughout, gagged, gagged, gooped, gobsmacked when you told me that Vecepia has never come back.
yeah, I did because this is before the podcast or anything, so I did spoil that she doesn't come back.
This is like a year and a half ago, way before the podcast, when
Yeah,
when we had not even an inkling that we were going to do this podcast.
yeah,
But you told me after she won that you're like, Vecepia never comes back.
yep. No, not
Gagged me.
even contacted for Winners at War.
That's crazy. That's like when Bob the Drag Queen was like, I was free as a bird. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody contacted me for all winners.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. It is crazy, especially because she is the first black woman to win a reality TV show.
Hello. My
Is that
God.
not something you would want to like? We need to bring her back. Like this is a big moment in reality TV history.
Right. It's like insane to me. And also, can we like look at the fact about how the winner circle, the first four winners of Survivor, oh my God, we had a gay man season one, we had a woman season two, we had a black woman season four, and then we had the DEI winner, Ethan Hawke, the straight white man, in season three.
Ethan Hawke.
What's his name?
Ethan Zahn.
Ethan's on.
Ethan Hawke is an actor.
I mixed up Ethan and Sue Bird.
You did. You did.
Um, but yeah, so we had Ethan's on, the DEI winner, the straight.
And season 5, we had an animal abuser.
Hello, diversity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's crazy. She absolutely should have been brought back. I don't know if she would have
Like the
been
fact
on
that she
my
wasn't
like
even on Winners at War. Just how many
yeah,
people do they have on Winners at War? Like what, 18, 20? Like
20.
that's don't spoil, but like that's crazy to me that she wasn't even on that.
It's like I don't think she would make my All Stars cast necessarily,
Right.
but like should be on maybe Heroes versus Villains. Absolutely, Game Changers. She should have been on Game Changers.
Would you have put her in the heroes camp or the villains camp if she were on HVP?
Ooh, I think I would put her on the villains camp
You would.
because cutting Kathy was like a huge move, and it was a villainous move.
It was. It was.
It was probably one of the most villainous moves at this point in the game thus far.
Oh, it kind of has been, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, wait, you're right, because this is kind of like the first big betrayal that we see.
yeah unless we're counting Colby and Jerry.
Mama, nobody likes Colby anyway, so who cares? So
Yeah,
let me ask you a question. You called Vecepia a game changer.
yes.
Educate me, why at this point do you think that Vesepia's game was so substantial and so revolutionary in Survivor at this point? Explain to me.
I think that she weaponized her luxury item, which was really, really smart.
What
Because
was
we've
her
seen
leisure
like
item?
so we've seen like luxury items be used as like tarps. Like Colby brought the Texas flag to use as a tarp. Like that's a smart way to use your luxury item. But because every season they had the challenge where you have to answer questions about the people on the jury, and
Right.
so she brought her book of poems.
Uh,
But she then used that book to write down everything about everybody, which was I think was a game changing thing, and it allowed her to win that challenge and make it to the top 3 because she was toast at that.
it was toast.
She
Yeah.
was toast if she didn't win that. I also think that making a deal with Kathy during Tribal was unheard of, and
But
then
was it? Sorry, let me finish.
and then making another deal during a challenge with Nalia that then cut the person that she just made a deal with. Like all of that, I feel like was very game changing because
Yes.
this was a very fluid game that was changing every day. Whereas I feel like the prior seasons, it was pretty set in stone what was going to be happening. Versus like, or besides like Kim Johnson winning immunities, and then she got to the end by that way. But that wasn't like these huge moves that people were making. It was just
She just won because she won.
she won and she like threw off the plans.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question though. Wasn't Kathy making an alliance with Vecepia top 4? Wasn't that Kathy's idea?
Yes,
Gutted.
but Vecepia went with it, and then she was like, "I'm voting for Nalia, so that's what we're going to be doing here."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a travesty she hasn't been back. I would love to see her on the Traitors. I think she would be cunty on the Traitors.
Oh, yes. Because she's the
Um,
original traitor, mother.
Yes, she is the original traitor.
Mama, that's Judas. That's
Not the Bible reference. Oh my gosh. So, okay, questions for you, Matthew.
Mhm.
Who, and you can, as many or as few as you wish, who do you think deserves to come back from this season?
Well, I think Vecepia deserves to come back, but I know she doesn't.
Yeah.
I know Boston Rob comes back at some point. That's the Jujubee of Survivor. So those two aside, I would love to see Sean back. I would love to see Kathy back. Nalea and Pascal don't really care about. I would love to see Tammy back. I would love to see Tammy back. I think Tammy would be such a great.
Bring back Zoe. Bring back Zoe.
Bring back Zoe. She's gonna have like 6 friendship bracelets, you know. Okay, so if I had to pick like 3 right now that I want back, Vecepia and Boston Rob aside, because I that's kind of cheating, I would want Kathy, Sean, and Tammy. I think, yeah, those would be my 3.
Okay, I would swap Tammy. I would be fine with the Tammy return. But I want to see John back.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy for you.
Not confirming or denying if it happens, but after watching this season, I was like, I want to see John again.
Interesting, interesting. Happy for you. He definitely probably wants to come back.
um, if you had to rank the first 4 seasons, how would
4, 1, 3, 2.
what
No,
about
no, sorry. 4, 1, 2, 3.
what about the 4 winners?
In who I like the best versus gameplay.
Gameplay. Who do you think is the best winner so far and the least best winner?
Best winner so far, Rich. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think he's the best winner so far. I'm gonna go. See, second I'm between like Tina and Vecepia. Second I'm between Tina and Vecepia. I'm gonna say Tina number 2, Vecepia 3, and then I'm gonna go Ethan 4.
Okay.
But season 4, spectacular season.
This is a I have no notes. No notes.
Yeah, it's just like such a good gay old time. It's a gay old time.
Because of
season.
John. Thank you, John, for your contribution.
But like this is like the 4th or 5th season I watched of Survivor. I was hooked after this one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this was so good to me. I'm so excited.
But you're still far from watching All Stars, bitch.
I know. I'm so not excited for season 5 and season 6.
I don't want to watch 5, but 6 is one of my favorites, so I'm excited. And it's like I'll get through 5 and then I can reward myself with 6.
Okay. Okay, this can stay on the record. What season is Sheehan on?
5.
Okay, okay. Good. All right, so at least I'll be sat for Sheehan, but not remember liking season 5 at all.
Yeah, so next is Thailand, which oh, Matthew's watched this one already.
There was a comment on our first video that somebody had said, hopefully Thailand doesn't dissuade you guys from continuing this podcast.
Listen, it's like you get through Thailand and then you get Amazon Pearl Islands All Stars. Like it's
Yeah.
like just get through this one dud and then you get iconic season after iconic season.
Because I remember one person from Thailand. I remember Sheehan. Remember nobody else except that the winner is a puppy killer. Nothing else about that season I remember liking. Oh, no, I take that back. I remember some point challenge early on, there was that one goth tall dude. And then the one short Southern man, and then they were having like that challenge where they were running across the boards on the water, and the goth dude like literally strangled the Southern man and threw him in the water.
Oh my god. Yeah, so listen, we're gonna get through Thailand. I feel like it's gonna be hard to get through this one. Like to
I know.
finish it to do the podcast.
I think it took me like 2 months to finish it, watching it by myself.
I think we need to give ourselves a very strict deadline that we stick to for this one, just because how else are we gonna get through the season?
I know, I know, but we have to. Okay.
Yeah, so listen, Thailand, it's coming. I can't say how quickly it's coming because none of us want to watch it, but
But to be fair, at the time of filming, we are 2 videos ahead of time.
yes,
We just dropped Australian Survivor.
yes,
So maybe we'll be able to do it by the time we drop Marquesas.
yes, and then it's smooth sailing.
It's smooth sailing because I am so motivated to get to All Stars, everyone. I'm so motivated to get to All Stars.
We need to have like a watch party for All Stars.
What, you and me?
I'll invite my mother. I'll invite everyone in town. I don't care.
Yes.
Well, this has been our coverage. This is the longest episode yet. I don't know how it's going to be when we cut it down, but we started at 7 and it's 10 o'clock.
We've been recording for 3 hours.
We knew this was going to be a long one.
We did.
But I love a long podcast. So hopefully
Yeah.
our listeners do too.
The people are going to appreciate it.
Because guess what? Get ready for the 17-hour-long extravaganza on Heroes versus Villains.
Okay, heroes versus villains. I don't know how many people are on it, but we need to like go like 5 by 5. We need to do like 2 hours for
Mhm.
5 people on that season.
There's enough content to do that. Like
I'm
legit.
so excited. I'm so excited for All Stars. I'm so excited for Heroes versus Villains and then Winners at War. Like I'm motivated to get through that.
Yeah. I mean, we got 4 seasons down and we got 46 left or 45 left.
Yeah, let's go. And who knows how many seasons will have come out by the time we get to like season 40.
I know. I think that's all. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media accounts at Survivor CVA Pod.
Hello. We have Instagram, we have TikTok,
We do.
and that's it. And YouTube.
Thank you all for listening / watching, and we'll see you in Thailand eventually.
Thailand. Yakatong normal. Sa. Derek didn't watch Thailand season 3.
I'm gonna have that cut off randomly midway through.
ZP, Drag Race Thailand season 3. Thank you very much. Runner up, robbed of the win.
Put some respect on her name.
Hello. Yakatong normal. Sa. Okay, that's it. Sorry. Oh, Vecepia, legend icon. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.